the tree or the Easter egg or whatever. There's just more peanut butter in the others than there are in the Reese's Cup, and I think that's what makes them better.
So you really don't like dark chocolate at all? That surprises me based on the fact that you like IPAs, you like really earthy reds.
No,
because I think the bitterness of the dark chocolate is what I really enjoy.
Okay, but now if I'm pairing it with a glass of red wine, if I'm sitting here and I've got some almonds on like a charcuterie board and some dark chocolate on there and some fruit on there, that's fantastic. But I just cannot eat like dark chocolate candy if I don't have a wine with me.
See, caramel is better than chocolate. For me, caramel is mine. Yeah. Like, I'll eat anything that's caramel. Now, I don't like salted caramel. I like your normal, everyday, just the way God made it caramel. And this all salted caramel, that's some sort of newfangled invention we didn't need.
I like it, though.
I just want normal caramel.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Speaking of veterans, they are veteran-founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com, or call 205-900-7200 to talk with a mortgage pro right now. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Do we have a ice cream sponsor on with us right now?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay. I just before we went by. It was my son's birthday on Sunday, so we went by, and he has a brewery that he likes the burger at. So we went by and got that, and then we went by to get some Jenny's ice cream because he loves that as well. It's his birthday, so we decided to do that. So I got the sampler, little 4-scoop thing, because I wanted to try a bunch of stuff. They had some weird flavors that were rolling. One of them was the sweet potato marshmallow praline. Would you have given that a shot?
I saw it the other night when I was there as well.
I like sweet potatoes and pralines. Not crazy about marshmallows.
I didn't get anything. I'd taken Leighton to dinner at the little Italian joint right there.
Yeah.
So we walked over, and I forgot what she got. I thought about trying it, though.
Yeah. It was not bad. It was not bad.
Yeah, pralines and cream is maybe my favorite ice cream.
Their salted caramel is the best ice cream I've ever had.
That was one of my scoops. Every time I go in there, it's got to be. They had miso butterscotch brownie.
Yeah, hard pass on that.
Yeah, it was not good.
Miso and ice cream just does not go for me.
And this is the one that I had to try because Maggie knows how much I hate bay leaves. Bay leaf cheesecake flavor ice cream.
Did you try it?
I did.
How was it?
I did not like it because it said bay leaf. And she's like, you can't even taste the bay leaf. And I said,
why'd you put it in there?
But it says bay leaf on there. And in my head,
you're right.
In my head, I'm like, all I'm tasting is bay leaf.
You could say miso, whatever ice cream. Don't put a drop of miso in there. And what's the only thing I'm going to taste?
See, that's sadly, you can ruin it for other people. Like there's a local salad in town that's chopped, and it's got a anchovy kind of taste to it. And I brought it up to a couple of people, and they can't eat it now.
See, and I never noticed it until you brought it up.
Yeah. Oh, are you one of them?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I've gone back to eat it.
Yeah.
No, but it's not because of that. But I never. When you said it was anchovy in it, I was like, "There's no anchovies in there." You're like, "Brown, it's all over it."
If you've never tried it, the strawberry buttermilk and the buttercream birthday cake.
Both those sound really good.
Oh, my gosh. And that salted caramel one, that's good stuff. All right. A fun show today. Again, tomorrow night, we're over in Avondale, and we'll be at the Goose.
That is right. Yeah, that's 2 for 2 for you now. You're on a heater.
We'll be at the Goose coming up then. Football tonight, Western Kentucky, Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State still transitioning up a little bit, but really, I think, a talented football team. That's going to be a good, underrated football game tonight, 6 o'clock ESPN2. I think they play within a score of each other. That's how fun it'll be.
You've sold us on this one. I need to look at the...
I don't even know what the point spread is. I think it's within a score.
Sam Houston State minus 2.5.
Okay, I didn't even know the line. I told you it's going to be a score contest.
Total of 54.5. So you would say over that?
Plays in the high 20s, probably.
Yeah. You think over 54.5?
I don't know about over, but I just know it's going to be a good, entertaining game. You can get the lines and play it all right there at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag, Brownie. Promo code next round.
That is right. Auburn's still a 4.5-point underdog on the road at Missouri. This Alabama-Tennessee line stayed around 3. That's right where you find it right now. Alabama, a 3-point favorite on the road.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on a Thursday from our Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, brought to you by Bud Light. Brownie here in a second. LT and Dunaway here to start off with Tyler and Forrester. Melton is in early this morning. Taylor and EG handling everything social media at Next Round Live. Football back tonight. NFL-wise, we're down in New Orleans with the return of Sean Payton. We'll talk about that game. Broncos and Saints this evening. An ACC battle between 4-2 Boston College, 3-3 Virginia Tech, and 2 more baseball games rolling today, and it could be the virtual end of the Subway Series. Let's start off with a little baseball, and then we'll jump into everything college football going on. Last night, your Dodgers did what they did in Game 1. Got great pitching, but didn't need a lot of great pitching because they had so many wonderful, deep swings of the bat.
Yeah, Kiki Hernandez pretty much put that game away when it was 4-0. And it's amazing because, we talked to Buster a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about this Dodger rotation was just kind of a mess where it sat, and they were going to have to outscore their opponents. And not only are they doing that, but the pitching's been fantastic. And Walker Buehler, who hadn't won since May 12th, got out of a couple of big jams.
Ooh, I mean, his breaking stuff last night was spot on and looked so good pitching. And they seem to have a great plan for their pitching, too, because he was leaving it all out there just to get through 4 innings.
Well, and Yamamoto, who got a $325 million contract in the offseason, wasn't great against the Padres. He'll get the start. He's kind of a heavy favorite. I think they're minus 150 now in Game 4 here. And, if they're able to take Game 4, this thing seems like it's over. And you mentioned Subway Series, then kind of out the window. You feel like the Yankees, if they go up 3-0, that thing's definitely over.
Yeah, they're the only team I think ever to blow a 3-0 lead, but those Boston Red Sox and Bloody Sox are not walking through the door. The Kiki story, as Brownie joins us now, the Kiki story is amazing. He one home run every 13 at-bats in the postseason. The only people with better home run per plate appearances.
Is this postseason history?
Postseason history.
I would say Reggie Jackson's got to be on there.
He's one of the 20, but he's not better than Kiki. Kiki is third, Babe Ruth and Nelson Cruz, and then Kiki Hernandez.
Well, they said this out loud in Game 2 because Kiki came up with the bases loaded, and I think he popped out. But in Game 2, they were like, this is one of the best hitters in postseason history. And if you haven't kept up with Kiki Hernandez, I think that really jumps out because he's 8th right now of active players with career postseason home runs.
Yeah.
Is Justin Turner on that list randomly?
I didn't look at the whole list, but I did know. I did notice where Kiki was. I can chase it down.
Yeah,
in the commercial break.
Shohei hits the bomb last night, but he hasn't been good in the postseason. At least this postseason. Mookie Betts hasn't been good this postseason. And that's the thing. You've got this luxury of riches when you look at this offense for the Dodgers. And if it ever comes alive, watch out. I mean, with really great players, MVPs, not doing anything, they still score an 8 spot on the road in the postseason.
Brown, that's, but if you don't have a rooting interest, you sort of, Dodgers.
You want Dodgers Yankees.
Dodgers Yankees. Those are the best 2 rosters.
What did I tell you last night, Brown?
That's where all the money is.
No, that's what Lance and I were talking about at trivia last night. Like, I got no rooting interest. 0 rooting interest in this thing. There's not a team I care about. There's not a team I particularly hate. Any team would be fine with me, but Dodgers-Yankees is the sexiest matchup. And Lance and I were talking about that last night because Lance is like, as a Dodgers fan, I thought as a kid we'd see Dodgers-Yankees playing a million World Series.
Because the second World Series I really paid attention to. The first was Royals-Phillies 1980. But 1981, when I became a Dodgers fan or was a Dodgers fan, when they played the Yankees, and it was a great World Series. And I think the Dodgers ended up having 3 MVPs, 3 World Series MVPs in that one series. But I thought from that moment on, we would see this thing all the time, and we've never seen it since.
Yeah, that's
not
pretty
one
crazy.
time.
Not one time.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, to bring it home, like
43 years.
When they created the SEC West, we thought, boy, the Iron Bowl will be for the West all the time, and really, it wasn't a time.
Not all the time.
it wasn't near as much.
But you can kind of understand that with especially how good Saban was, which kind of takes away from what's going on the other side of the state.
And then how bad Alabama was, and Tuberville was good at one point. And they were just cleaning it out.
But when you're talking about West Coast, East Coast, completely different, leagues. And with the money, they spend more money than anybody else. And for them not to just somehow fall into the World Series at the same time. It's pretty crazy.
That's what it is that they spend so much money. You just think that best roster should be there. Better comparison, Brownie, in college football probably would have been the Hurricanes and the Seminoles when they went to the ACC and divided those divisions up, put them in separate divisions. You thought
so they could play.
Yeah, ACC championship. We're going to get Florida State, Miami every year.
That happened how often?
It hasn't happened yet, has it?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Still waiting for that one. So it could be Yankees and Dodgers, but the Mets and the Guardians not done yet. Game 3, Yankees-Guardians in Cleveland with the Yanks a 2-0 lead, 4 o'clock TBS today. And then Dodgers and Mets, 7 o'clock FS1 for Game 4 of that series happening tonight there in New York. So a fun baseball time. Couple of quick little baseball notes before we get into our college football conversation. Loaded show, by the way. Buster to talk more baseball with us. He'll be with us at 10:15 today. Little different time, so adjust the scheduling. Let your friends know if they really like Buster, but make sure you always have your alerts set. But Buster only with us at 10:15 Central. Roman Harper with us at 10:45 with all the dirt on what should happen in Neyland Stadium. And Dan Orlovsky talking about the Thursday night Broncos-Saints game and everything in the NFL with us at 11:05. All that straight ahead. Forrester's microphone, please, on the back row back there. Forrester, my man, the news leaking out that Jerry Reinsdorf at least letting people kick the tires on the White Sox.
Don't toy with me. Do it, Jerry. Sell the team.
Jerry's got you a World Series championship.
Yeah, that was
Mariners don't have one.
20
Padres
years ago,
don't have one.
and they have sucked all but 2 years since then.
But you gotta have that one
Historically
championship.
sucked.
Yeah.
He's right. It has not just been sucking. It has been sucking worse than anyone ever has.
So he may sell the team. We'll see if that happens. And for my team, the Tampa Bay Rays, developing story. The Tropicana field hit by the hurricane. Not going to be ready for opening day. They don't know when it'll be ready. And here becomes the big debate before you talk about where you play for at least the start of the season. Is you're planning only to play back in that stadium for the 25, 26, and 27 season. Now, that is 3 full seasons.
Right.
But the new ballpark's 2028. I don't know how insurance claims work. Can I take that insurance money
and start the new one?
Spend it somewhere else? Well, I mean, you already got the money for that. Can I spend it on anything I want? Can I buy a new boat? Do I have to rebuild that stadium?
I don't know if you noticed this, and to me, this is an example of. I think there's some laziness in it. You'll see somebody that gets rear-ended, their bumper is falling off, they get a check cut to them, and they go buy a new purse.
Yeah. Well, I'm just asking, can you do that in this building situation?
I would, maybe. I mean,
maybe.
you can do it with personal insurance.
And this started, when this story broke, there were a lot of fans here locally. They were like, hey, the Birmingham Rays, hey, that'd be fun for you, Dunaway. Play it out at the Hoover Met. Nobody's using that field a lot except for the SEC tournament.
They could play in a parking lot. It doesn't matter. I mean, nobody goes to the games anyway.
My point going to be that George Steinbrenner Field, where the Yankees play their spring training, with hardback seats, has 11,500 right there in Tampa. It's down the street from Raymond James Stadium. It's where the Yankees play spring training. It's the largest spring training stadium built just for spring training in Florida. It's a state-of-the-art facility. For 11,500, you probably could bring some portable bleachers in the right field and make it 15,000, and that's all you're going to need for 3 seasons until you build a new ballpark. I wouldn't spend a dime on Tropicana Field. Mm-hmm. I would take that check and spend it elsewhere, and probably on shortstop or somewhere like that.
Shortstop.
Yeah, but I would use the money for something else and play at George Steinbrenner Field for 3 seasons.
Boy, you're going to get a lot of rain delays. That's why y'all have a dome.
That's why you have
rain
a dome.
delays.
Yep.
I mean, you'll get a ton of rain delays,
and that is why the other option apparently is to share the stadium with the Marlins in Miami. Retractable
Interesting.
roof.
So y'all just play in Miami all year?
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, you better be glad, or your city better be glad they announced that new stadium, or they might say, Nashville's got a pretty good stadium. They could use Nashville.
That's what I tweeted. Everyone has said, I'd love to see them play in Nashville.
If you had not announced that stadium yet, you wonder if they might just say, well, just let them play in Nashville.
That's the buzz. But just think about it. Next year, you could have 2 American League teams playing in minor league ballpark with the A's playing. Where are they playing? Sacramento?
Sacramento.
Yeah. And you could have.
They're like there for 2 or 3 years in Sacramento.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Why not just do that for Tampa? And
I agree.
Not rebuild the dome there. Okay, enough baseball there. It is football season. Heart of college football. We'll jump into that. Show being brought to you today, first by The Lock and our friends at Hemp Hill. 41 with frost on the pumpkin this morning
sir.
when I got up. Had to let the defrost roll a little bit in the old truck. Hemp Hill is getting you ready. Get that heat checked out.
Yeah, I told you how bad last week was at lanceslock.com. We have started out 4-0 this week, though. We've got more plays in the NFL, college football, Major League Baseball tonight. Jump on board. It's going to be a great week. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience any heating, plumbing, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And as we jump into our college football headlines, remember your game day headquarters, always the Pants Store. Birmingham, locations everywhere. Also the original in Leeds. Huntsville, that great market up in Huntsville with a lot of folks who understand what good fashion looks like. Tuscaloosa, Auburn, and anywhere in America. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. Your game day headquarter for Bama and Auburn polos, hats, quarter zips. It's officially quarter zip season, guys. Gentile, Antigua, Cutter Buck, Horn Legend, all the great name brands and the rompers and the dresses for the ladies. Free alterations, free gift wrapping, and all the boots and New Balances and Hokas that you need for your feet as well. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store, pantstore.com. Steve Shaw's the guy that made it happen. Love us some Steve Shaw, guy right here who lives in Birmingham, coached, refereed the SEC up for years and years, and now is the national head of officiating. They changed the rule yesterday. They didn't change the rule. They changed the way the rule is interpreted. Last 2 minutes of the game, if you do the Dan Lanning plan and have 12 players on the field, they will reset the clock. You don't even have a choice. They will reset the clock.
So that's for any penalty that is illegal substitution, which is what that penalty is called, 12 men on the field.
12 men on the field.
Whether they deem it intentional or not.
Last 2 minutes of the game.
Is that the only penalty that rule addresses?
That is, yes.
That's interesting.
I guess they just assume that after Lanning pulled it, that we're going to see it once or twice a weekend now.
Depending on your situation, it's a.
I mean, really, why stop at 12, right? I mean, it's the same penalty whether you got 12 or 15. Why not just run?
Well, and that's really because what you're risking is, you're getting a free play in that situation.
Yeah.
It was an incomplete pass for Ohio State, but let's say, it's not against belief that you could hit a big one up top against 12, but if you've got 15, the odds go down.
If I can rush 5 and drop 10 in coverage, I really like my odds.
Yeah. But I believe I'm correct about this, and you guys who are smarter than we are, let me know in the mybookie.ag chat room. But there is an illegal substitution, having too many men on the field penalty that is a stoppage of play before the snap. No time runs off. If the officiating crew knows it and you're already in formation. If you're in the formation offensively or defensively lined up and you've got 12 and or 13 out there, I think there is a flag you throw there, and the play never runs at that point, so you don't get the runoff. So that's why running that guy on late in the way Lanning did it the other day was so important to what happened there.
Yeah, but I mean,
of course, you could just run 7 on.
That's what I'm saying.
You got
Just have a
5
line change.
heading for the secondary. You got 2 going straight for the quarterback after the ball snap.
It's just weird that it only addresses this one penalty. It's so knee-jerk because of that. But to Lance's point, I guess Steve Shaw and everyone in football knew now that Dan Lanning has done it and stood there and smiled and it worked perfecly, he won't be the last one to try it. Now, this is a really unique situation.
It is. Rarely does it come up, which is why everyone, I think, is just slobbering all over Dan Lanning for having that scenario in his head and ready to do it. And I am too. I just love the fact that somewhere along the way that he and his boys were sitting around with their feet kicked up and said, you know what? What if we run a guy on late?
I hate giving him that much credit.
I know, but he deserves it.
Give us a little extra coverage out there. Get the penalty. Make them run 5 seconds off the clock. You think that'll work? Yeah, it'll work. Let's practice it 1 or 2 times, and then we'll call it something.
12 men.
12. Red dog.
Well, I mean, to your point, it's got to be a late game situation. It's got to be a situation where 5 yards is not going to get a team into field goal range, or you're up by more than 3, so a field goal doesn't matter. Now, in that situation, a field goal mattered. Yeah, I mean, that's a 1-point game. But they were in a situation where 5 yards did not give you field goal range. So, I mean, and it's late enough in the clock that 5 yards is not going to matter either. That the team with the ball is A, out of timeouts, and B, is down to limited plays.
Yeah, you're working one more play.
Yeah, I might have 1 or 2 more plays. So, I mean, this is such a unique scenario where you would even think about doing this.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's honestly, we're probably not going to see this penalty enforced all year, or we probably weren't going to see this situation again even without the penalty.
Yeah.
And we're not going to see the penalty enforced.
It reminds me of NASCAR, and I think I'm right about this. There was a time where they used to put, before it was regulated, I guess you could have the largest gas tank you could imagine, or you could have extra gas tanks,
Right.
however you wanted to design it. And they came up with a regulated size for your gas tank for the car. So what did some good old boys in Hueytown do? Well, how about the tubing from the gas tank to get to the engine?
That's right.
How about if we run it through the doors?
Didn't say how long that could be,
They make
did
a
they?
long
Yep.
tube, and all of a sudden they have to regulate everything because if you're not cheating, you're not racing, right? They were finding loopholes. So loopholes can end up being an enjoyable, fun part of sports. All right, that's the off the field stuff. Now we get to some on the field stuff, and for entertainment purposes only, or if you like to gamble, a couple important injury notes. First, Arizona State going to start Jeff Sims this weekend. Sun Devils and the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Jeff Sims will start. No Sam Levitt, LT. Got a hard hit in the Utah game. He's out this week. Jeff Sims is your quarterback. That changes the way the Sun Devils play football.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's going to be a lot more RPO when it comes to Sims. This is a quarterback we saw. The first time I ever saw him play at Georgia Tech, I was like, man, this guy is raw and he's going to be really good. He has never progressed as a quarterback, and that's why he's gone from Tech to Nebraska to now Arizona State. Sam Levitt is your best opportunity to win. There's a reason Kenny Dillingham was starting Levitt. I think this is a dangerous game. I said it the other day when we did our sneaky good games that I think Cincinnati wins this game. Cincinnati quietly has 2 losses, both by a field goal or less.
Yeah, Arizona State just outside of the AP poll. And very important for Colorado, and if you are going to wager on Colorado versus Arizona, Brownie, Travis Hunter expected to play. He left that game last week against Kansas State. Another big Big 12 game for Dion in Colorado. Hunter, I mean, that's 2 positions. He's 2 players,
Yep.
and he's expected to play.
Yeah, and that's good news for them, obviously. The only significant time he missed was after that, what a lot of people called a dirty hit in the Colorado State game. Am I right? I don't think he missed any time other than that. So as much as he's played, and that wasn't like a random injury. That was a concussion hit on the sideline.
Oh, I think it was was it a spleen injury? I mean, it was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was something
Yeah.
internal that got dislodged, like a bodily organ got dislodged.
I mean, he got smoked.
He did get smoked. As much as he is on the field, it's remarkable how durable the guy actually is. I mean, he is out there all the time, and he's taking hits and giving hits. Massive for Colorado, obviously, to have him out there. I mean, he's a Heisman finalist. In fact, he's a Heisman. He's making commentary about the Heisman as well. Right. So much involved in it that he's commenting on other players that are involved in it. So, I mean, if you're Colorado, it is a game changer having him out there, no doubt.
Yeah, no word on Horn, but if they get Horn back too, full strength helps Colorado in that race to stay relevant there in the Big 12. And then for Alabama, as Alabama gets ready to go play Tennessee, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, both probable. You brought this up. Let's talk about what that means. Kendrick Law, fastest guy, or at least one of them on Alabama's team. Kobe Prentice, I said this earlier today with Dusty and Danny on Sirius XM. Kobe Prentice sometimes only has 1 catch in a big game, but sometimes it's like the biggest 7 or 11-yard catch it seems like in the game. You know, he's one of those guys that may only have 1 catch, but it seems like it's a monumental catch to an important drive. And he's another guy that's pretty fast with the pads on, which frees up Ryan Williams a little bit and frees up space for Milroe to run. Getting Law and Prentice back for you guys, what does that mean in this game for you?
I mean, they've been underutilized anyway. Law's entire career. Law's got 2 grabs the entire year. When you've got a 1 like Williams and you've got a 2 like Bernard, you know, you've got luxuries to try to figure out who those other weapons are around. You know, Dupree's been good. I think he could be a lot better if he was more utilized. You know, I think Cole Adams could be good.
Yeah, he has good moments. But, Brown, there's something else Kendrick Law brings to the table.
I've
Slade Bolden was a poor man's Cole Adams.
That's true. Yes, Cole's a little better than Slade. Slade's on the sidelines a lot. I see him. The thing Kendrick Law does very, very well, and you hate to diminish his receiving ability because I agree with Lance. The guy can be a weapon both running the football when they give it to him on jet sweeps and things like that, and as a receiver, but he's probably the best blocking receiver Alabama has. That guy is a devastating run blocker. And Alabama needs to get that traditional run game going. And it can only help to have him on the field, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's taking a man out of the play on the outside runs.
Even Milroe, when he goes on the outside on the run, having someone like Law to set the edge. And to me, that's where Alabama has struggled. On both sides of the ball is on the edge, right? Protecting on the edge, setting the edge in the run game, and also preventing people from setting the edge on them in the run game, running at them. Huge. The edge is huge this week for Alabama.
He seeks out contact when he's out there blocking, and again, he's taking a man out of the play. So, and generally, Jalen Milroe, when he gets to the edge, he's taking a lot of guys out of the play himself with his speed.
Right.
So if you can eliminate one more guy out of the play, that's going to be some big plays for Jalen Milroe. So having Law back out there, I think, it changes every aspect of the offense, the pass game and the run game, both in blocking and his threat if he carries the ball.
Looking forward to that game coming up this weekend up there in Knoxville. Auburn's on the road in Missouri. We'll talk about that game coming up. Got a little feeling Auburn's going to win this game, don't you? Anybody?
Auburn's hard to figure out. Yes. I don't know if I've got a feeling they're going to win, but I think Auburn is in just about every game they play, even when they lose.
Yeah, and I don't know if Missouri really is a top 25 team, but again, Hugh Freeze has lost 9 straight games against ranked opponents.
Yeah. That's an amazing stat. You said that yesterday in Hugh, and when you said it, not that I don't trust you, but I had to go fact check it because it just didn't seem right. But you're right. Now, he was close with Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
But close doesn't get you that W, does it?
Well, he's coached 39 games against ranked opponents in his career. What do you think he is in 39 games against ranked opponents?
So this is Liberty, Ole Miss, everything.
It's everything, yeah.
Ranked opponents not named Alabama. I have a feeling this is not trending good.
Yes, 39, Lance?
Yeah.
Against ranked opponents, I am going to say...
I'm going to say 10 and 29 would be probably a good number.
No, I think it's got to be more than 10. 15 wins.
This is why it's weird that I was such a proponent for Hugh Freeze. He's 12 and 27.
Yeah. But
the only big games I guess he's really won are against Alabama, right?
Okay, let me challenge Brown's computer skills over there.
All right, give me it.
Can you find is there a place that has coaches versus top 20 versus ranked teams? Because I have a feeling 12 and 27 is going to be, I think that's going to be the line. I think that's going to be about the line.
Well, I brought this up. I don't know if it was yesterday, Tuesday, Monday, whenever it was, that Ryan Day now 1-7 against top 5s. You start to, we talk about James Franklin, Lane Kiffin. You go back and you look at what Nick Saban was able to do against top 5s, top 10s, top 25s. It's going to be amazing. You remember it was Dan Mullen's knock forever. He couldn't beat a top 25. All these coaches have problems with really good teams.
Yeah. I just think if you're unranked playing a ranked team, you're not supposed to win that game. If
Caleb DeBoer doesn't. He beats ranked teams.
Well, you're going to have the outliers. Like I think Nick Saban is going to show up good no matter top 5, top 10,
no matter
top
what
25,
you're looking at.
Right? He's going to show up well. But I think as you go throughout the rest of college football, I think around 500 is going to be really good versus ranked teams. Don't you? Am I misreading that? Brown will find that for us a little bit later.
It's going to take me a minute, but if you give me a minute, I bet I can find it.
I didn't want you to have to do it right now, just a little bit later on. One more thing to get to in this opening segment, maybe 2 more things in this opening segment that is being brought to you today by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, make the phone call. If you've thought about LASIK before, you've been procrastinating a little bit, now is the time to make the call. It's a hassle-free consultation. You've got 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. I had the 2200 vision over 20 years ago. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes, 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Also ask about pre-inflation pricing. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Melton in early today working on the new look meltdown coming up soon. Stay alert for that. Set your alerts. We'll let you know when that's returning. He too, like me, a Way to Wellness customer, personalized plan for weight loss that works for you. You can jump in right now with a weight loss that is simplified from our friends at Way to Wellness. Medical weight loss supervision. Also, meal replacements, board-certified medical professionals, no contracts, no sign-up fees. First consultation is free. I talk about the protein bars all the time, how you sort of replace a meal or get you from one meal to the other so you can eat healthier. They also have the high-end medical weight loss that you see advertised everywhere, right? They've got that. The weekly injections, they've got that for you. Anything that's out there that can help you with the weight loss, Leslie and her board-certified team has that. And business is so good at Weight and Wellness, they're also expanding their staff. If you're looking for a career opportunity, you can go to aplanforme.com, and see if there's something there for you. Planforme.com, it's Weight and Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Is it too early to be scoreboard watching in college football when it comes to the playoffs? Here's I'm going to set it up like this. Eventually, you're going to get down to 10-2 teams probably, and we're going to start weighing 10-2, and maybe you don't have some head-to-head situations. So here's why I asked this. Was it important for Western Kentucky to win last night, eventually for Alabama's strength of schedule somewhere down the road? Because Alabama has a win. They're 5-2. Yeah. Is it important tonight tomorrow night? No, tonight, Virginia Tech to beat Boston College, because Virginia Tech continues to be a better team at that point. They're 4-3. Who beat them? Vandy. Who beat Alabama? Do we start? That's the way it is in basketball.
Yeah,
that's the way it is in basketball.
I don't think so.
No, I don't. I think you're too early on that. I thought you meant like, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, am I the biggest Auburn fan in the world Saturday? And I think that answer is yes.
Well, yeah, that's
what I thought.
That is level one. Yes,
that's the only level of scoreboard watching I'm willing to allow at this point. Yes.
Well, I do think when we get to maybe 3 losses, maybe you start to look at that stuff. And like Virginia Tech still has an opportunity if everything breaks right and they go 6-1 down the stretch or whatever it is, end up being 8-4 and they're a top 25 team. Then I think that helps.
Yeah, but don't you think at some point, all that computer stuff, it always matters, but even now with the 12-team playoffs, because unlike 4, I feel like we're going to have a bunch of teams that sort of are like right there in a blob, and the committee is going to have to point to something on why we put them in there. Strength of schedule and game control and all those things come up. It doesn't look better if Western Kentucky in a very, very average Conference USA is a 10-2 team?
I just can't believe it's going to get down to how you did again, or how Western Kentucky did after you beat them. Like, I imagine if there's a tie in the committee's eyes, it's going to be, okay, give me their 3 best wins. Which of these two has the 3 best wins? So let's say it is Ole Miss and Missouri, right? Let's say they're tied. All right, give me Ole Miss's 3 best wins. And they run it down and they say, well, Ole Miss beat Wake Forest. Ole Miss beat, whoever they beat. And then you're like, all right, well, give me Missouri's. And then they're just looking for Missouri to have one good win. And they're like, all right, we're going to put Missouri in.
This is when us being together for 15-plus years comes in, because you've walked right where I wanted you to walk. Okay, best wins. And then the conversation goes to, okay, who has the best what? We always talk about
best loss. Best and
loss.
I hate that, yeah.
Yeah, best
I'm
loss.
not going to reward that.
And how important is it now for Vanderbilt to be good, where Vandy's not a bad loss for Alabama?
No, I mean, that does help. Yeah. Like, if Alabama lost to Vandy and that's Vandy's only win, I mean, they're going to look at now. Look, if Alabama's also got wins over Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Missouri, and all
if
those
Alabama
teams,
doesn't lose
that's
again,
not going to matter one bit.
But if they do lose again, say they lose Saturday.
Yeah, I think they could have absorbed 3 losses, but because one of the 3 would be against Vanderbilt, that might be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you are correct that it only helps for Vandy to be good. If you're Missouri, it only helps for Texas A&M to be in the playoffs. Yep. If you're Ole Miss, it only helps. If you're Ole Miss, now you need Kentucky to not fall off, but it would not hurt you for LSU to be in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, that level right there. I just cannot believe it's going to matter about a Western Kentucky, though. Or if you're Vandy, or if you're Ole Miss, a Wake Forest or somebody like that.
Yeah, I just I wasn't trying to be right. I'm just saying, with the expanded field, I know what it is when we do basketball. I mean, we have all these, Alabama last year. I'm right about this, right? They were an 11-loss team, but a lot of them were good losses. So they got a good seed, and they made it to the Final Four, quote-unquote, best season ever. So I just wonder, with a 12-team playoff, what are we looking like in the final half of the season? Are we doing that much scoreboard watching? It's fun to start trying to connect the dots on what the playoff committee We'll be doing the first playoff poll comes out in 3 weeks. Am I right about that?
I think that is correct, yeah.
3 weeks away from that. Much more on the games going on this weekend, and the big one tonight down in New Orleans. If you're an NFL fan, make sure you get that fantasy football lineup set or ready to go. Show being brought to you by our friends at CPAP Plus. Listen, we've got friends in our life, LT, that struggle to sleep, and not just because of fire alarms going off or dogs barking or something like that. Some people just has trouble breathing, and they're using some old equipment when it comes to their CPAP. You can change that right now.
Yeah, if you're looking for the best CPAP gear with personal service you can trust, Google CPAP Plus or just visit one of those 3 convenient locations. Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. New customers, the Next Round viewer and listener, got a special $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask, CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Make sure you mention the Next Round. Stop by CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, ready for you, with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trustville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
What's up, everybody? This is Mayor Woodfin, the mayor of the city of Birmingham. The McDonald's Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Legion Field October 26th. Watch the parade fill the streets of Birmingham. Turn up at the Coors Light tailgate party, enjoy the bands at halftime, and of course, bring that magic into the stadium. The best seats are selling fast. Tickets start at just $25. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MagicCityClassic.com.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? Adams Beverages is a leader in the beer industry and is hiring CDL drivers, warehouse staff, and sales reps. Whether you are a seasoned professional or exploring a new path, join Adams Beverages for an open house October 23rd from 10 to 4 at 141 Industrial Drive in Birmingham. With a commitment to quality and community, Adams Beverages offers a great place to grow your career. Learn everything about Adams Beverages and more on the October 23rd open house at adamsbeverages.net.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Don't forget, if you're on Apple or Spotify with that podcast, download, rate, and comment there. Loads automatically for you every day. Good to listen to when the show is not on live. If you're in the gym or out running or hunting in that tree stand, it's that time of year coming up pretty soon. Enjoy that. Odie's last night for these guys. They had the trivia down there with our buddy Will Haver, the great local bar, great food and everything. What was the question last night?
Yeah, I'll let you and Tyler try to figure this out. Which came first, Mike Tyson or Gatorade?
Gatorade did. I'm going to say Gatorade was 66. I'm going to say Mike Tyson was 60. I'm going to say Mike Tyson was 70.
I'm going to say Mike Tyson was like 67.
So what do you think came first?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, 1966.
Oh.
Gatorade, 1965.
Oh, dang.
These are the little things you learn at Odie's. What were you going to say, Brown?
I said so close.
Yeah.
I guessed it right last night.
Stop into one of those two great locations for lunch or dinner. Live music on Friday and Saturday night as well. But a great place to watch Major League postseason action, college football, the NFL, Odie's Tavern, and enjoy incredible food. Our man Skip last night reminded me that I love to talk about the Diablo sandwich.
You do. It's the best.
It is incredible.
I love them.
He said he likes to put mayonnaise on the Diablo sandwich.
I'm
and I
stop
said,
right there.
Well, why not?
No.
But incredible wings, burgers, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Stop and see Will Haver. 2 locations, Crestline, Homewood. It is Odie's Tavern.
Royal Payne in the MyBookie.ag chat room asking the question about 10-2 teams. One's in the conference championship, one's not in the conference championship. I think we've talked about this several times, but we'll probably have to talk about it several more times. It's my belief that a loss in the conference championship will not be held against you by the playoff committee. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, it can't be. I mean, I think they've already had these internal discussions. They have to. And I brought it up to Greg Sankey back in July when we were out at SEC Media Days in Dallas. What are you going to do when you have a bunch of 10-2s? Because you're going to have a bunch of 10-2s. Now, he didn't want to discuss it, but they've had to have these discussions before. Because if you're 10-2, and let's just say randomly you're Ole Miss or Alabama, and you're on your couch watching a 10-2 Texas A&M that loses that game, and you guys get in and they don't with that third loss.
Yeah.
Who's to say, like, I remember there was a day when Louisville won a national championship with Purvis Ellison, and it was unheard of. The next year, they went 16 and 15, and they got an NIT invitation. They were like, we're not going to the NIT. Is it going to become a day where a team's like, I'm not playing in the SEC championship?
Nope. It will not. I just don't think you'll ever get there because I think, here's your question.
But would you say no if you knew there was a chance you lose? If you don't go, you're in.
Right.
But if you lose, you're not going to a college football playoff.
This is why people will not say no, because who controls college football playoffs?
The SEC and the Big Ten.
Okay. What's important to them?
That conference championship money.
Okay, there's your answer.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that control the playoffs. They're the
I
ones
get it,
that
but
control
then back
the committee.
to your answer is you're not going to get punished. You can't.
That's right. That's why I'm saying nobody will ever say no, because there's never going to be a team that gets punished by that.
That's exactly right. I've said from day one,
Yep.
Unwritten rule or written rule.
It doesn't matter.
It
Yep.
will not impact you with the college football playoff. That's our thoughts, Royal Payne. Tyler's got our 4 downs a little bit later on in this segment. Show being brought to you by our friends at HydroLive. HydroLive getting you ready for another big football weekend that goes full steam tonight.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy. If you're tired of feeling stuck in your weight loss goals, discover a personalized approach that works with HydroLive Therapy's weight loss therapy. HydroLive combines hydration therapy with targeted weight loss treatments. They provide a comprehensive approach to weight management. Stop into one of those 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone. Also a Tuscaloosa location. Very important. Mention the next round, 20% off all those great services. You can book your appointment online, hydrolifetherapy.com. Walk-ins welcome. Very important. Mention the next round. Also ask about memberships as well. It's our friends at HydroLive.
We'll talk to Buster Olney coming up in about 30 minutes. Listen to our buddy Matt Rule. By the way, there's 11 unbeaten teams left. One of them's Indiana. Nebraska plays them this week. Listen to our buddy Matt Rule and his quarterback, freshman Dylan Raiola, and tell me what pops out here about this situation that happened to them in the program just recently. Here is Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola.
Dylan woke me up in my office this morning. He came in and banged, and I woke up that's him. Like, he's here first thing in the morning.
Coach Rule said you woke him up in his office last week by knocking on the door. What time do you have to get to the facility to do that?
Oh, he slept here, so he probably slept in a little more than he wanted to, but somewhere around, what, I don't even remember. I walk in here and just walk in. I don't look at the clocks. I almost hit his head because he slept by the door, and I knocked, and I opened the door, and I hit something, and he was on the ground. So I was like, oh, I just knocked his head.
He doesn't have a couch? He's sleeping on the floor? What's Matt doing there?
It's a little strange.
It is. Maybe air mattress?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, he's got to have a nice couch. He's a Nebraska head coach. He's making $5-6 million a year,
He
right?
could buy one out of his pocket if he needed a couch bad enough.
Does our man have back problems and laying on the floor trying to stretch that back out? I don't know, but he's sleeping on the floor.
What if he's Tom Hanks in Castaway? You remember that? Tom Hanks couldn't sleep in the bed after he slept in that cave that long. Maybe Matt Rule been sleeping in a cave in Charlotte.
Yeah, what's that sad movie? Was he sleeping with one foot on the office door trying to
Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah, Pursuit of Happiness.
That was a bathroom door.
Bathroom door.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man. Come on, Matt, get up off the floor.
I'd give anything for Raiola to show up to his press conference. Start talking like this, please. He has everything else he's trying to copy back.
He's going to have to play extremely well on the road in Bloomington for a crowd that should be. I know that sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy.
And it's an 11 o'clock early kick.
It's a sellout. I've seen it's a sellout.
But it's going to be the best atmosphere maybe ever at an Indiana game.
But that's still not an atmosphere that should impact the outcome of the game.
I don't know. I mean, how many does it hold?
Maybe 60,000. It's a glorified high school stadium.
I would guess 60,000 is a good guess.
Yeah, I don't think.
And Nebraska fans travel.
Yeah, there's be 20,000 Nebraska. That's one reason it's the sellouts. They're playing Nebraska.
I've heard that's front town, Bloomington.
Bloomington?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Mm-hmm. I was a little surprised by that.
Me too. It's
not that college town.
Not that far from Indiana, about Tuscaloosa from Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, it's roughly an hour or so. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more than an hour.
So speaking of road crowds, get a little information yesterday. A lot of you Bama fans, I don't know about the Auburn fans, but I got inundated with the pricing for the college football playoff on-campus game. If you end up hosting one, you can go ahead and start picking your seats. If you're an Alabama fan, you can keep your season tickets. And apparently the game cost for that on-campus playoff game is going to be about the same price as the Georgia or Auburn game for Tide Pride members. So not very big difference, but I did get the information on the visiting team. Some people had wondered, would it be bigger, blocked off bigger crowds for the visiting team since it's a playoff game? And the playoffs are controlling so much of the money there. That is not the case. You get 3,500 seats regardless of the size of your stadium. You only get 3,500 seats. If you decide to bring the band, it comes out of your 3,500 seats. You only get 3,500 seats as a visiting team coming to Bryant-Denny Stadium. So if Georgia has to come back to Alabama,
the band won't be coming.
That's right. The band won't be coming, and 3,500 seats is all you get. And by the way, about 40% of them have to be lower level and have to be in connecting sections. So you can't spread them out all over the stadium either. So there are rules about that. But 3,500 is not a lot for a playoff game, so a true home field advantage.
Boy, it will be. So here's something I saw what you sent out, and this jumped out at me, and I think you've already answered the question. So there are prices for every seat in the stadium. That doesn't mean those seats are up for grabs. Like if I've already got a skybox, that's my skybox. This is just telling me how much that ticket's going to cost me.
That's the flyer. The thing I sent out is the thing that's available. It's available on websites, and several people sent it to me. That are Tide Pride members. That went out to the season ticket holders.
Okay, so
you get first shot at your seats and any other seats.
That's just showing you how much your seat's going to cost for a home playoff game. Yeah, and you go ahead and send that check if you want it now.
If you don't want to buy it, if you don't opt in on it, then those seats become up for sale. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So there is a chance there could be some good seats that hit the market that aren't normally there. I mean, I would... When you guess if you're a season ticket holder, you go ahead and reserve those playoff tickets. You'd want to be at the first playoff game. I don't know why you'd say no.
Yeah,
because the price, like you said, the price isn't that ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just slightly bigger, but not. At first, I looked at them and I was like, "Oh my goodness, look at the pricing for the playoffs." And then the people that are Tide Pride members that I was texting with were like, Jim, that's normal pricing. That's what we pay for Georgia and Auburn. I said, are you kidding me? You guys are paying that much money? There's the graphic.
Lower level between the 40s is $250. That's not crazy this day and age.
But that's face value.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's lower levels between the 40s. Those are the best seats in the house that are non-luxury suites. And that's only a $250 ticket. I mean, I say only. I know that's expensive. I get it, but I'm just saying for what you normally pay, that's not that crazy for a college football playoff game.
Yeah, so interesting about the pricing. I just found it more interesting, the travel, because there have been some people that thought it wasn't going to be 50-50, but that maybe a lot more seats would be left for the visiting fans, and that is not the case. By the way, the 3,500, no return. If your team doesn't travel well, you can't return those. Your school buys the 3,500, and you can't return them to the school.
So you just put them on StubHub or ATX?
It's like when you go to the bowl games.
Right.
It's like when you go to the bowl games. Back in the day, the old school bowl games, if you said, okay, I'll come play in the Citrus Bowl. And they said, okay, you're responsible, Alabama, for this number of seats. And Alabama would buy them and then sell them to their fans. But if they didn't sell them all, Alabama was on the hook for those amount of seats.
So, but I mean,
you can't return them like you can a regular season.
Do you think there's any school that could make the playoffs that couldn't sell 3,500 tickets on the road? I mean, let's say this.
Boise State could sell 3,500 tickets.
But let's say Boise State's coming to Alabama. That's a long haul.
4 days before Christmas.
4 days before Christmas. You think they would say? I mean,
be tough.
That's a lot to ask of a Boise State fan. 200. But
UNLV's not selling 3,500 tickets.
Yeah,
but you do have that core group of fans and family. I mean, family counts in that too, Brownie. And band if you want to send them.
Yeah, I mean, so that's 100 kids, 2 parents. So that's 2 parents. So let's go family of 4. I mean, it's 400 tickets, and all I got to do is sell 3,000.
Yeah, and you bring the band now. You only got to
sell. I guess if I pay for the tickets, I may as well travel the band too.
4 Downs every day, brought to you by our friends at Slice Non-Sports. We'll get back to sports and Buster Only, college football and Buster Only in the next hour. But Slice get you ready for lunch today.
Stop by. They've always got a daily Slice special with a salad. You can pick up a couple of pizzas on your way home tonight. Local pizza, local ingredients, created by Jeff Pajaya. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy. 5 locations: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline, and the newest location in Edgewood. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Our conversation yesterday about Halloween candy makes me want to know, you have to get rid of one flavor of Starburst forever. Which do you pick?
I think it's a lemon. They made a mistake, and you won't know this, Tyler. They had lime back in the day. The lime was absolutely fantastic. They bolted with the lime. They kept the lemon. The lemon is the worst of the group.
I agree.
I disagree. Lemon's top 2 for me.
Top
I'm getting
2?
rid of red.
No. You're getting rid of red?
Yes, easily.
There's packs now where you only get the reds.
Yeah, but the
strawberry one?
No, not the strawberry. He's talking cherry.
Yeah, it's like cherry or fruit punch or whatever.
Yeah, the fruit punch is great with a tropical Starburst, but the regular cherry does have a little too much of a pop. But I would probably strawberry. I think everybody agrees that's universal. Yeah. That's number 1.
Yeah, the pink.
I probably would lean orange, and then I could get rid of cherry or the lemon.
Lemon for me, I agree. Cherry would be next. I agree with LT. The strawberry is the best. I don't know if I remember the lime, but I bet I liked it.
Given the choice, you've got a pack. You can either get the all reds, which is the dark red and the pink, the cherry and the strawberry, or the original, which is the yellow, orange, pink, and red. Which one do you go with?
The original.
I do too.
Yeah, I like the flavors.
I like the reds are probably the best ones, but I still like the variety.
They used to have a candy that was very similar. It was called Pace, P-A-C-E.
Right.
And it was just a knockoff Starburst back in the day. And they tried to compete, but they didn't.
I love Starburst. Yeah. Absolutely love them.
Do you ever take and mix 2 flavors together?
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I've done it.
Do you? I've never done that. I'm a 1 Starburst at a time guy.
I am too.
But no, I like to savor it.
You're not freaky when it comes to your Starburst?
Man. I'm a 1 Starburst man. I like to savor it too, though. I'll unwrap it, pop it in, and.
Do you guys remember the lime though?
What will you do after you pop it in, bro?
Well, it stays there for a minute, Jimmy.
Yeah. Do you hold it between your cheek and gum?
Hey, I am surprised that Starburst doesn't have a deal with the dispensary yet.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've got Nerd Ropes.
That's right.
I'm trying to think of some other.
Well, it would change the flavor dramatically, though, wouldn't it?
I think you could hide it mostly.
You could hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You probably could taste it if you just hold it in your jaw like you do.
Yeah. Nerd can't be happy about.
Keep going.
You would think you'd have a cease and desist, wouldn't you?
On the Nerd Rope hemp, or the Nerd Rope CBD stuff.
If they call it that, I assume they're getting some cash.
I would think nerds.
But you guys remember the lime, right?
I do remember the lime, but it has been a long time ago. Yeah.
Little T says she has a pack of the Fave Reds in her purse currently.
I will not turn those down. I'm just saying, given the choice, I go with the originals.
I would take one right now myself, too. Let's do a second down.
Second down.
today, Ziggy Marley turns 55. So what's the best Bob Marley song?
Three Little Birds. It's easy. Redemption Song is second.
It's easy.
Redemption Song is my second favorite.
I don't like
I heard
any
it
of it.
yesterday.
I mean, No Woman, No Cry.
Not
I
a big
really-
Bob Marley
yeah.
guy myself, so no thank you.
If I walk into a room and he's playing, I'm going to turn around and walk out.
Yeah, I just. It's
I'm
not
going to
my
assume
style of
you
music.
saw the movie, though, because you
I
see
did.
everything. How shitty was the movie?
It's not the worst biopic I've seen this
Okay,
year.
not the worst.
Amy Winehouse one was a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
I would say the Bob Dylan one that's about to come out looks really good.
Do you? You
Yeah.
think that looks good?
I
That
do.
has not
I'm
appealed
looking
to me.
forward
Boy,
that.
they're-
From the makers of, I mean, the makers of the two people that were the makers, they had done two other movies. I was like, ooh, I like both of those. So the Dylan previews, I like the way it looked.
Yeah, every time they show that, I'm like, I just don't think I'm going to watch that. But I'm not a big Bob Dylan guy either.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
Third down.
Norm Macdonald would have turned 65 today. So what's the best Norm role, sketch, or joke?
I liked Norm as the bandit when he had Yoda sitting next to him in the truck. Do you remember that? Or in the Trans Am?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Norm is.
For some
is-
reason, I was thinking like, Star Wars for some reason.
No,
but you're
when-
talking Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, when Norm had the mustache on, portraying Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
his shirt.
It's such a dry sense of humor.
I love Norm Macdonald's humor.
It was on a talk show when he just literally sliced OJ apart. That's one of my favorite Norm Macdonald
And Bill
moments.
Cosby. I don't know if you've seen the one on Bill Cosby that he destroys.
That was when he was at his best, when he was on
Yeah.
the talk show circuits, and he would just, they've got sensors, and he just takes it right up to the line and sometime over it. Was really, really good.
Yeah, I think my favorite has to be the bit he did. I think it was on one of the night shows, maybe Jay Leno, about how everybody's worried about it. He goes, I'll tell you what I'm worried about, it's the Germans. I don't know if you're a student, a history buff, but he goes, they declared war and their opponent was the world.
And then they did it again, and their opponent was
the world. He goes, except this time they had that stinkity guy. Such a good bit.
Pavlik says his roast of Bob Saget was fantastic. Norm's OJ jokes on SNL from Charles.
I love his style of humor. That, like Lance said, it's just dry, and he doesn't care if a joke takes 15 minutes. He's going to deliver it the same way. I love Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
I'm going to tell you, because of TikTok, I didn't know he was dead. I still rolls in my time feed, and I was like, well, I don't see enough of this guy. He is so funny.
Is he coming to the comedy club?
Why is he not still on these talk shows?
All right, Eminem turns 51 today. So who had the better career, Eminem or Leonardo DiCaprio?
Boy, that is so tough. So tough. Because
They
I do
have
think
a very
they're
similar net worth as well before that question.
Well, I mean, what are they, 250?
Tyler working
it's
ahead.
between 250 and 300 for both
Yeah, I
of
would
them.
guess that. So Leonardo, you can make an argument. One of the top 2-3 actors of our generation. But Eminem, for a minute, a lot of people would say was the best rapper on the planet.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean... I don't even know where I'm going to go in here. I mean, Leonardo had, he was a kid actor, so silver spoon early. I give him credit because he was able to navigate the pitfalls of being a child star.
Yeah.
But Eminem literally came from the hood. I mean, and in his story, well documented. I think I'm going to go Eminem to be able to get out of the situation where, basically crack all around and no money.
I'll go Leo just to be different to save the graphic here, but
I'm going Leo too.
Both of them are very, very, very talented, very a tight race here. I've consumed probably a lot more Leo work, but a lot of Eminem work for me too, and I love his lyrics. One of the best lines in a song ever, I think Rihanna sings a hook for it, where they're watching somebody, he's watching somebody leave through the window, and it's a hurtful situation. He goes, I guess that's why they call it window pane.
Oh,
I mean, that's a deep line right there.
Hey, so
Speaking of Payne, Liam Payne, right?
Yeah.
Best team name last night?
Oh yeah. Give me a Leonardo DiCaprio, just a truly awful role. I'm not saying he hasn't had one. I'm just saying a truly awful Leo DiCaprio role. That says a lot about Leo DiCaprio, doesn't it?
Very selective with his roles, and
you guys watch a lot of movies.
A ton of Martin Scorsese collaborations, and those just aren't bad.
Yeah, the one where it's not a bad role. He does a wonderful job in it, but the one that sort of scars me is when he goes to live with this lady in this commune on a beach. I think it may be actually called the beach.
The beach, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not considered a bad role.
No. And he was wonderful in it. It's just when they let the guy die in the jungle after the shark bite. That's a haunting.
I think that movie relates better to people that like recreational drugs. Danny Boyle directed that one. I thought it was a good movie. It was a little, I don't know. It would be it would be down the list on my Leo films, though.
Maybe Killers of the Flower Moon.
It was overrated.
Really disappointing.
Yeah, that movie got destroyed, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was good, but it was overrated.
I mean, at some point, he's going to be like Tom Hanks has gotten at the, we're seeing Tom Hanks now, not in his...
Tom Hanks.
Not in his Hall of Fame uniform. He's now in a 49ers uniform.
He's playing for the Seahawks.
Yeah. And Leo will get to that point, too.
I don't know.
Leo will eventually start doing just
bad movies. He's made enough he could just shut it down and not. He could be.
But they never do.
I know.
They never do. Yeah. Is that it?
That's four downs.
Four downs brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, stop on one of those 5 locations for lunch or dinner. Local pizza, local ingredients from the Soul Pie, the Hot Mama. You're going to absolutely love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
At some point, Brownie's going to tell me Dunaway, the pick 3 is up, and you can go play at nextroundlive.com. That's going to happen.
Some point.
Next few hours, maybe a few minutes or something. So get ready to play again. And he's going to tell me at some point before tomorrow how many winners we had last week.
Oh, yeah.
Did we
forgot to give you that number.
Did we get triple digits?
No.
We did not get triple. It was so close. 97 last week. Triple digits at some point.
Scott says the pick 3 is up right now.
Jim, the pick 3 is up and it's ready to go at nextroundlive.com.
It's rolling right now.
Buffalo Wild Wings pick 3.
I knew it was seconds away.
Yeah.
So you can go play the pick 3 right now. The lines are up. nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com, brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Play all the way up to kickoff on Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoff Central Time. Play all the way up to then 3-0, and you got a ball in the bucket for the grand prize at the end of the year. I think our buddy Brett tells me he's got 3 balls in the bucket. A little uncomfortable.
Yeah, hard to cross your legs.
Try to get as many as you can. Best chance of winning that way. So jump in there and enjoy that. One more thing here before we get to the top of the hour. Broncos and Saints tonight. NFL, we'll talk to Orlovsky in the final hour. Is it Spencer Rattler again? Do we have Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler on the SEC network tonight?
It appears.
Starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Is it Spencer back for the Saints and Bo Nix for the Broncos?
Yep, it is.
The NFL matchup we never knew we wanted.
Yeah, and this Denver offense, Denver defense has been really good, but you go back to last weekend, it looked like Denver was going to get shut out, and then a fourth quarter rally, just a fury from Bo Nix and this offense. They've been really good at times. You look at the second quarter against your Bucs and what the Saints, 27 points in the second quarter this past week. This is an interesting game for both head coaches. Obviously, Sean Payton wants to be able to go back to New Orleans and win this game. And for Dennis Allen, trending in the wrong direction. I told you guys I project 7 coaches are going to be out after the NFL season. One's already out with Robert Saleh. But Dennis Allen is one of those guys trending to be out.
Trending in that direction. Lost his quarterback, so that hurts a little bit. You're a Saints fan. I want to ask LT because he's harder on Saints fans than he is any other fan base. He does not like them. I'll ask you, Brownie. You're a lifelong Saints fan. You're in the stadium tonight. Sean Payton comes running out his first time back in New Orleans. You cheer or you boo?
I cheer.
Yeah.
I mean, guy won the Super Bowl for me, and it wasn't like an acrimonious departure, was it?
No, he retired.
He just retired, and then he was like, you know what, I miss it, and this is a chance to get back in and coach again. I can't blame a guy for that. I cheer him.
I cheer.
Yeah, a guy won me the Super Bowl.
And you remember how they rallied behind him when he was suspended for the 1 year for the Bounty Gate?
That's right.
So that fan base loved Sean Payton.
A chance for him to go back down there. Storm Restoration Roofing, a chance for Greg from Pell City to get on your roof and give you that free evaluation right now with no obligation. Get that roof checked out. You don't know what the summer storms did to your roof. One shingle can cause a problem, water entry points and such. So get Greg from Pell City up on that roof, and he'll take care of that free evaluation, no obligation. He'll also give you a free quote if you need to replace your roof if it's aging out or storm damage happens, because you never know what's going to happen. When the unexpected happens, make sure you've got that phone number on standby, 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531, or look him up on Facebook. Greg from Pell City. He handles the storm damage, the roof replacements, roofing claims, restorations, handles inspections. If you're selling or buying a home there, it's all from Greg from Pell City, family owned and A+ rated. 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Back in a moment.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Savion Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
What's up, everybody? This is Mayor Woodfin, the mayor of the city of Birmingham. The McDonald's Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Legion Field October 26th. Watch the parade fill the streets of Birmingham. Turn up at the Coors Light tailgate party, enjoy the bands at halftime, and of course, bring that magic into the stadium. The best seats are selling fast. Tickets start at just $25. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MagicCityClassic.com.
Join the Adams Beverages team. They are hiring all positions, whether you have experience in the beer industry or not. Come to their open house October 23rd from 10 to 4, 141 Industrial Drive, Birmingham. A leader in the beer industry since 1937. AdamsBeverages.net.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
With the bye week, Auburn's been off the beaten path for feels like a little bit now.
Since the Cal loss.
Yeah. Charlie 5, Kyle Rush, trying to get you fired up for the Missouri game this weekend. You can see his Top Button podcast up daily. It's there at thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com. And follow them on YouTube. Sign up now for just $1 and get tons of incredible insight and content there. Subscribe there on YouTube. Village Vice drops with Zach and Brad throughout the week as well. Also over at covercrimson.com, Clint and Mick and Mike Johnson and Jake Coker and Aaron Suttles and Chris Stewart and Stacy Blackwood all sending out content. $1 sign up. Get tons of incredible insight and content there, and subscribe on the YouTube channels, thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com as well. Speaking of the Auburn Tigers, cut number 6 and 7 if you can, Tyler. Getting ready to play Missouri. I think the reason around here there are a lot of Auburn fans, but I think there's optimism for this team for 2 reasons this weekend. One is you go back and you look. Auburn was so close in so many games. Oklahoma game, I mean, I don't want to sound like Hugh here, but probably should have won that game, right?
Well, again, Oklahoma's not a good team.
Yeah,
no, but you're right.
I'm talking about wins for Auburn.
Yeah, you should have won the game.
Yeah,
Yes, Jim,
go back to
correct.
the Arkansas game. You had some chances there. Cal's a better team than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
And you turned the ball over so much in that game.
Cal really should be 6-0.
Yeah.
They really should be 6-0. They outgained Florida State by 126 yards. They lost that game by 5. They were up 20, and they lose by 1 to Miami. And then last week against Pittsburgh, they dominated. They almost doubled the yardage of Pitt, and they ended up losing that game by possession.
I think what you're saying is the Oklahoma game, as an Auburn fan, I walked out of that stadium thinking we controlled that football game. How am I walking out of here with a loss?
For 58 minutes.
And you never controlled the Cal game. In fact, Cal controlled that game early and then
20 of 22 passing in the first half.
And then was able to bleed clock in the second half while you were inapt on offense. The Arkansas game you never controlled. That was a back-and-forth football game.
They should be 3-3.
Yeah. The Oklahoma game you controlled. You were the better football team. Auburn is a better football team than Oklahoma.
Eugene Asante puts it into his own words on what he sees when he looks at this team on tape.
How quickly do you think it can flip? A couple of plays here or there?
Yeah, I think it can flip really quick. We talked about in our defensive meeting, don't let us get one. Like, just don't let us get one victory. So it's like, I really do believe once you get one and that momentum and you understand, like, you get back in the swing of things, you're like, man, that confidence really does truly come from winning and just having good tape and going out there and playing well. So I do believe we get one and just that'll build the momentum in this team. It'll build a spark within this team that this team really does need at this moment.
So coming off the bye, they're looking for a spark. Missouri may be the best spark you can get. They're a ranked team, but it still feels like the nation and some of us on the show still do not believe this Missouri team is as good as the 19th best team in the country.
Yeah, look, Nate Noel's been good, but he hadn't been Cody Schrader good. The defense hasn't been nearly as good as what you had last year with Blake Baker calling that defense now at LSU. I don't know how good Missouri is. I mean, I really don't. I think they're okay.
Yeah. I think they're middle of the road SEC team.
I think they're better than Auburn, but I think it's close.
I think they should be better than they are. I think they've got better parts than what has shown.
Are they closer to Auburn than Cal? Missouri's closer to
Auburn or closer to Cal?
Missouri's closer to Auburn than Cal is closer to Auburn. Not on a map.
I would say, I mean, Cal and Missouri would be a toss-up game to me. I don't know.
What about Arkansas?
Toss-up.
So basically,
it's
Auburn,
most of college football.
Missouri's got a ranking, but basically Auburn is playing Cal, Arkansas.
You know what these teams are now?
Weekend.
Just because we're going to equate everything to the NFL, these teams are 8-9, 9-8 teams in the NFL.
Yeah,
that's what Auburn is. That's what Missouri is. That's what Arkansas is. That's what Cal is.
I think if you mentioned optimism of Auburn fans, if you win this game, I think you look at it, and now this is an optimistic fan talking, right?
That's
I'm
right.
talking as if I'm an optimistic fan. You win this game, you're like, why can we not win 4 straight here?
Why can we not? That's
Because
what Eugene said.
Yeah.
Don't let us win one.
Well, it's the old Boston wrestler. Don't let us win one.
Don't let us win one.
But, Kentucky has been wildly erratic this year. You go to Kentucky, that is a winnable game for Auburn.
It is.
Vandy at home. Vandy is a tough out, obviously, but you got them at home. Vandy's not going to win every game they play, right? So maybe you can beat Vandy. Then you got La Monroe. As much as we've talked them up, that's a game you ought to be winning. So I think.
But here's what
I know,
frustrates
but they may
me.
have the coach of the year.
If I'm an Auburn fan, obviously you didn't get a quarterback in the portal. And we talk about all the great wide receivers that were coming in, but the proven commodities, there were 2 guys I thought you could really rely on weapon-wise. And look, this is before we knew anything about Keandre Lambert-Smith, and he's been great.
Yeah.
But you knew Jarquez Hunter coming back was a talented back, and Rivaldo Fairweather was the guy that was underutilized. Hunter is averaging basically 7 yards a carry. He's getting 13 carries a game, not enough touches. Fairweather is getting 2 grabs a game right now, not enough touches.
Yeah, I'm with you. There are a lot of puzzling things about this Auburn offense.
It's the not touches for Jarquez Hunter that bothers me the most of all the non-touches.
Well, I mean, if you're averaging 7 yards a carry, I mean, what that does for your quarterback, opening things up for Peyton Thorne, who has struggled, it just doesn't make any sense. He's not getting more carries.
Is Ryan Day a good football coach, you think?
I think he is.
He was born on 3rd.
I'm
not sure he hit the triple.
Travion Henderson in that game Saturday night was averaging, I think it was 8.7 a carry and got it 10 times. I mean, good coaches, sometimes that it is puzzling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even good coaches, there are times you look at it and you're like, this guy obviously has a hot hand. How is he not touching it more? How do you get out of that game if you're an Ohio State fan and you look back and you're like, Travion only touched it 10 times?
And guess what? It doesn't get magnified if you win. But when you lose,
that's right,
is when people are going to talk about it, and that's the problem with Auburn right now.
I think that you got to have a good staff at some point saying, "Hey, we haven't let Jarquez touch the ball in a while." Well,
no, and I think there is something to that. I mean, you've got to have trust, you got to have respect, and I think that sometimes these head coaches that are calling plays get a little overwhelmed.
He got 20 carries against New Mexico State, 17 against Oklahoma. Those are his 2 highs, but most of it, 12 against Cal, 12 against Arkansas, 13 against Georgia, and you're like, how am I at the end of the game? And he's had 12 carries.
I would want somebody to tell me, hey, remember Jarquez out there. Real quickly before we jump on with Buster Olney here and talk a little baseball, football season has already produced another great moment for Alabama fans, and that means Daniel Moore is at work on a new piece right now. It's called Deuces Wild. Ryan Williams' great catch, and then Zabian Brown's great interception to end the game. Both of them wearing number 2 for the Crimson Tide. So Deuces Wild. This is the pencil sketch right now from Daniel A. Moore, the guy who's been documenting Alabama's great moments since back in the 1970s. That's the preliminary sketch. You can pre-order right now by going to danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com, or you can go ahead and order The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championships. Pick up the 2025 calendar of a lot of great Daniel Moore art pieces using the coupon code TNR for 20% off. It's all right at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com.
All right, Vanderbilt is 4-2. They host Ball State this weekend. Joining us to discuss that is ESPN's Buster Olney. Welcome in, Buster. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I don't know how much I can tell you about Ball State, though, okay?
Okay.
I don't know how much I can tell you about Vanderbilt, for that matter. All I know is every Saturday now I'm getting text messages from other people around the country, fellow alum, who are going, oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah. By the way, we discussed this yesterday. Your colleague Reese Davis was on the show, and Lance asked him about it. There's a chance, if it all works out, College Game Day on the campus in Nashville, that's next week, right?
Next week, yeah.
And Vandy in Texas. That would be massive. I know they've been there before. They were there for an Auburn game several years ago, but it'd be pretty cool to see that.
That would be pretty cool. And if, unfortunately, with the baseball playoffs, World Series going on, I'm not going to make it. But, man, that would be so much fun. And I guarantee you, whatever kid they put up there to kick the field goal, that kid will get it done, okay?
Win the money, baby.
I wish Buster would be the guest picker. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be awesome. Guest picker Buster Olney.
Yeah.
So Buster, after we talked last week, we brought up, hey, if the Dodgers are going to win, they're going to have to win with this offense. And Shohei hits a bomb last night, but he struggled a little bit in the postseason. Mookie has struggled in the postseason. But the Dodgers, another shutout on the road. They're 3rd this postseason. That is the most in the history of the Dodgers in one postseason. What is going on with this staff that at one time had gone 33 innings going into this series?
Yeah, they're getting great work from up and down their staff. And look, I do think it's an open question about whether or not it's sustainable, right? In the last game, in game 2, it wasn't. The relievers, got knocked around in that game. But last night, Walker Buehler, speaking of Vanderbilt, gave them a chance with 4 scoreless innings. That's, to this point, the Dodgers have more innings thrown by the relievers in the postseason than starting pitchers. But they don't necessarily need, the Sandy Koufax or the Oral Hershiser or the Clayton Kershaw to get them 7, 8, 9 innings. They just need a good start to a game, 4 innings. Just get them to that far, and then the relievers can take over. And now because of the blowouts, and they've had a couple of them already in this series, it's enabled them to rest their best relievers. That will help them. I think where the Dodgers might get into trouble is if they had to use the relievers day after day after day after day, their best guys getting exposed to the other team. That hasn't happened so far, and they are hitting. And it does feel like Shohei Ohtani's about ready to just break out.
You've been covering baseball for a long time. Is there a common DNA factor for a guy who shows up in the postseason even more than he does in the regular season, like you're getting with Kiki Hernandez?
Yeah, I think Derek Jeter defined that the best, and this is someone who had 200 career hits in the postseason. He said that if you can treat the postseason games like a regular season game, then you'll be fine. I mean, let's face it, there are not many guys who can do that. Joey Cantillo, the reliever, came in for Cleveland the other day. He was overwhelmed by the adrenaline of the moment. Kike Hernandez seems to be the same player he is during the regular season as he is in the postseason as he is during the regular season. He's always aggressive. He's always confident. You guys have seen him play, and he can do some damage. A .550 slugging percentage in the postseason. And it's kind of crazy that, again, he hit a home run last night, that he's getting this opportunity, guys, because he wasn't even supposed to be playing. Miguel Rojas got hurt, their everyday shortstop. That set off a series of dominoes, and now Dave Roberts is using Kike Hernandez, and again, doing damage in the postseason.
ESPN's Buster Olney, you might notice, already got the credential on. He's about to head over to Progressive Field for Yankees Guardians this afternoon, 4:08 first pitch for that on the Turner Networks there. As, the Guardians are in a must-win situation there.
I'm just glad you're not wearing camo, because you'd blend in with that wall behind you right there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, at Mercy, I did SportsCenter this morning, and the person who's setting it up said, "Hey, is the lighting in there a little bit better?" And I'm like, wait a second. We're getting, a hotel room. It's not like we're set up for professional lighting for SportsCenter, right?
I'm not in Hollywood.
Take what you can get. You take what you get.
Yes. I'm going to break a rule of mine. I hate asking someone about someone else's work, but I'm just curious if this is why this would even be discussed. I was on Twitter a moment ago. The Big Lead had an article. Is it time to move Ohtani out of the leadoff role? Why would you consider that? Is that even being discussed? I mean, why would that come up?
No, Dave Roberts is dismissing that. The reason why it's coming up is because Ohtani is hitless in this postseason when there are no runners on base, and he's 8 for 10 with runners on base. And there might be a couple reasons for that. Without runners on base, maybe opposing pitchers are trying to coax him out of the strike zone. He's chasing, especially away. With runners on base, maybe the opposing pitchers are backed into the corner, throw the ball over the plate. I tend to think it's just small sample size. And when Dave Roberts was asked about it the other day, his feeling is, look, this is one of the, he feels like Ohtani is their best hitter, which is saying something, because you got Mookie Betts and you have Freddie Freeman. He wants him to get as many plate appearances as possible. And Dave told me when they put him in the leadoff spot, he thinks Ohtani loves it, because he loves the idea of, setting a tone, of getting the guys going. I do think he's ready to just break out. I felt that way about Aaron Judge, too, going into that last game, where you're just like, man, Ohtani in his first postseason, it feels like he's starting to relax just a little bit, be in a better position. I could see him having a big game in Game 4 and then building off of that as we move forward.
4:08 today, Guardians go back home to take on the Yankees down 0-2. Guardians 50-30 at home this year.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the series is over, though? I know there's still a lot of game to go, but it just hasn't really felt competitive.
No, it hasn't. And, it's a younger team going to the Yankee Stadium games 1 and 2. I mean, I feel like I'm stating the obvious of saying this is essentially a must-win game. It's only one time in the history of baseball that a team's come back from a 3-0 deficit in a best-of-7 series. That was the 2004 Boston Red Sox, and they are swimming upstream. They in some ways, the challenge for Cleveland is the same as the Dodgers in that you're relying so much on your bullpen. Think about what happened in Game 1 for Cleveland. Alex Cobb comes out in like the third inning. He had an injury. He's out for the rest of the playoffs. In Game 2, Bybee is their best starting pitcher. He only lasts 4 outs. They have to go the bullpen again. To do that day after day after day after day, I just think it's impossible, at some point, to rely on them then so much. So they need Matthew Boyd, who starts for the Guardians today, I think, to give him 4 or 5 innings, to throw a Buehler. And on the flip side, you have the Yankees. Theoretically, their big advantage over Cleveland is the depth and the quality of the starting pitching. Clark Schmidt starts today, and casual fans don't know him. He was in the midst of a breakout season. I think he would have gotten, down ballot Cy Young votes if he had remained healthy in the ERA of about 2.5. And something to keep in mind today, he hasn't started in 8 days. And for most pitchers, you'd be worried about that. When Clark Schmidt has had 5+ days of rest during the regular season this year, his ERA is 1.80.
Ooh.
He's allowed only 3 homers in 50 innings. He's one of these guys who seems to use that extra time as opposed to being overcome by adrenaline. So I think Cleveland absolutely is swimming upstream for this game.
Yeah, interesting stat there. We were talking earlier in the show about why we haven't seen, or are we surprised that we haven't seen the subway versus the freeway series more, Yankees and Dodgers. You've covered the sport your whole life. Are you equally surprised that we haven't seen Yankees-Dodgers more in the World Series?
Yeah, because that was, when I was a kid, it felt like it was something that was a real possibility. And in fact, that that matchup's happened more than any other possible matchup that we've seen. It happened in 1963. Since the Dodgers moved out west, happened in 1963, happened in 1977, happened in 1978, happened in 1981. And now, we're staring at the real possibility that you could have a World Series between these two teams. And I tell you what, if you're Fox executives right now, my God. The idea that you would have Dodgers and Yankees, Ohtani versus Judge, you talk about a promoter's dream. It would be something. Now, a Subway Series, and we saw that in 2000. I was at the New York Times when that happened. That was exciting as a reporter to cover. It was a lot of fun, but a lot of the country did not watch that series. It actually was not a very well rated series. I think Dodgers-Yankees would be a huge rating for Fox.
I know you were either on the farm or you were in school at Nashville, or maybe back and forth 35 years ago when the earthquake happened before Game 3 of the World Series. Baseball literally saving lives because the game starting during the rush hour, scheduled to start during the rush hour, had people off the highways when roads and bridges were collapsing. Were you watching then, and what was going through your young brain of how they were handling the broadcasts and the impact it had on the sport?
Yeah, I was watching on television when it happened, and so like everybody else, you see Al Michaels and who's a California native, immediately identify, like, we're having an earthquake right now. And, as an idiot baseball reporter, my first thought was, oh my gosh, what, are they going to play this game?
Yeah.
And then after a while, you realize the game is like the least important thing that's going on right now. The question is, are people okay? Because they had terrible collapses, terrible damage all over the place. You wondered if they would move the series to someplace else. 2 weeks later, they resumed and they continued that. But yeah, it was, boy, you talk about a stunner, and there couldn't have been anybody better suited to be on that broadcast than Al Michaels, who'd lived through that before.
If you had to guess right now where the Rays open their home season, it would be where, Buster?
Ooh. And it would be only a guess. Mark Topkin, the reporter for the Tampa Bay Times, wrote a story today speculating that Major League Baseball is going to have to look at alternative sites. I checked into that after Mark's story came out, and what I was told this morning was it's still early. Like, baseball's not taking a serious look at that. But I kind of wonder about the spring training site that they have up in Orlando. the Disney, and that's where the Braves for years and years and years, they had their spring training there. Of course, they don't have a roof, and in Florida in the summertime, that can absolutely be a must. But that was the first thing that occurred to me. If they wanted to stay in the state of Florida, that would be a good place to go. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they play in the spring training complex down in Charlotte, which apparently came through okay.
Would Steinbrenner Field, the Yankees spring training, just down the street, basically from the Buccaneers Stadium, would that be off the table, you think?
I think at that point, let's face it, Major League Baseball is going to be trying to make chicken salad out of a less than great situation, and I think they're going to be open-minded. But as I mentioned, when I pressed some people with baseball today, they just said, look, we just need to find out more information about the Trop and what's available there. We know that in the past, when Bud Selig, was commissioner, and he was also, the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers, a lot of those games that had to be moved would wind up in Milwaukee. Maybe, they would be a roving team where they would go from site to site. Some people have speculated upon maybe almost having an audition in Salt Lake, maybe have an audition in Nashville, move them around that way. I know Stuart Sternberg, the owner of the Rays, his kids went to Vanderbilt. And maybe that would be a place that he'd like to try out for a summer if it's not available, to play at the Trop. Like it looks, the damage is incredible, and it's hard to imagine they would get that place in shape by the time the start of next season begins.
I'm not allowed to let you leave without asking you the White Sox question that our video director, Scott Forrester, wants me to ask you. Could Jerry Reinsdorf sell this team? There are reports that he's open to it.
Look, at some point, I think he's got to move it. The Athletic is reporting that he is in conversations with a group led by Dave Stewart. I have no reason to believe that, that's not right. And the thing about Jerry, at some point, he's in his late 80s. He needs to divest himself of that team. And let's face it, in this moment they have right now, they're staring at 4 or 5 years before they might be relevant. If Chris Getz, their general manager, gets his rebuild right. So in a lot of respects, at a time when, there's talk about the White Sox wanting to ask for a new ballpark, the timing couldn't be better for them to consider selling the team. It makes sense to me.
And they keep it in Chicago if Dave Stewart's involved, because isn't he involved in that group in Nashville as well?
I think that Major League Baseball views Nashville as absolutely an expansion place. Like when there's been speculation that maybe the Rays would go to Nashville or the A's would go to Nashville, the response I get from people in baseball is, hold on, they're going to wall it off because someone's going to pay a lot of money to bring an expansion team to Nashville.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Buster, enjoy the game there in Cleveland today. Massive game, obviously. It's maybe the Guardians' last chance, and I know you love it. You love this time of year, so go have fun.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Always fun.
All right, Buster. We'll see you next week. Buster Olney with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline as he is in Cleveland. You, yourself, can go see America in an RV from Johnston RV Center. Find them online at johnstonrvcenter.com or find them in person, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They love the United States military the way we do. Great discounts for active duty and our veterans. See more there at the dealership. $145 a month, as low as that for travel trailers. Fifth wheel starting more than $45,000 discounts at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online at johnstonrvcenter.com.
Can you name something better than a Milo's Burger? The only answer here, Brown is dead on 100 Milo's Burgers, which can now be easily done through Milo's Catering. Catering options range from individualized box lunches, ideal for any work or team gatherings, to customized build-your-own burger bars, chicken sandwich bars. These are a huge hit at any tailgate out there. Special offer to the Next Round viewer and listener, $10 off. First-time catering orders this fall. Enter the code catering10. That is catering, all caps, 10, when you order Milo's Catering through the Milo's mobile app. To learn more about Milo's catering options, please visit miloshamburgers.com/catering. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering. Stay saucy.
Roman Harper in the next segment. We'll get back to talking about SEC football. A couple of fact or fiction questions right here for you. Bama's defense is struggling more than Tennessee's offense. Fact or fiction? I'll say it again. give you time to think. Bama's defense is struggling more than Tennessee's offense. Fact or fiction?
That is fiction. You look at Nico, he's 46-76, 1 touchdown and 1 pick over his last 3 games. He is yet against an SEC opponent to throw for more than 200 yards. Dylan Sampson has been really good running the football, but you're not getting any balance with this Heupel offense because Nico is missing open receivers right now.
There is belief that Heupel, because his defense is so good, has been trying to limit Nico's mistakes to put them in harm's way, and it has somehow taken the air out of that offense.
Yeah,
you got to let him eat.
Yeah.
So, something's missing, and I go back to Alabama, 4:23 left in the first half. They had pitched a shutout. Things got weird. I go back to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's offense is much better than advertised. The way Tim Beck calls the offense, the way Diego Pavia is running this offense. So I think Alabama's defense hasn't been great by any means, but we're talking about a Tennessee team that was shut out in the first half against Arkansas. They were shut out in the first half against Florida. They are struggling right now.
When you look at Alabama's defense, through the first 3 games, they had allowed 16 points. So, 26 points. My apologies. 26 points through the first 3 games. So, right around 8 points per game. Now, since then, they have given up 34 in a win over Georgia, 35 in a loss to Vanderbilt, and 25 in a win over South Carolina.
Yeah, 11 touchdowns, Brown, in the last 10 quarters.
Yeah, that is a lot. I'm not arguing that. But
you want to know? 75% completion rates in the last 2 games to Vandy and South Carolina. They've allowed a 75% completion rate.
That's a problem.
Okay, so Alabama has gone from 8 to allowing those last 3 games. Just do a little quick math, probably somewhere around 30 a game.
Around 30 a game.
Okay, from 8 to 30. That's a big jump. I don't deny that. So Tennessee started the season averaging 64 points a game through their first 3. They have since scored 25 in a win over Oklahoma, 14 in a loss to Arkansas, and 23 in an overtime win over Florida. So now you're looking at them dropping almost 40 points per game. So you tell me which one's struggling more. I mean, Alabama's defense is probably on average up about 20-ish points a game. And Tennessee's offense, now there's a different level of competition. Tennessee did not play a good pre-conference. NC State's turned out not to be a good team.
Right.
But Tennessee's off almost 40 points a game of late. So I would say Tennessee's offense actually is struggling more.
I think so.
One more quickly, and then we got to get the break for Roman coming up. Auburn's averaging 16 points a game in SEC games. Okay, 16 points a game in SEC games is what Auburn's averaging. They double that this weekend against Missouri to 32 or more. Fact or fiction?
I would say it's fiction.
32 is a bridge too far for you for
That's
Auburn?
a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a lot.
Yeah, I need to see some more.
I mean,
evidence
Vanderbilt's
again.
offense is playing much better than Auburn's. Double overtime, they scored 27 against Missouri. Hey, since 2022, worst record in the SEC, just in conference play.
In conference play since 2022, that is the Auburn Tigers.
I mean, I want to say Auburn because we're talking Auburn, but State seems to make more sense.
Vanderbilt 4-15.
Okay.
Second worst record at 5-14, Auburn.
Yeah.
And that's pathetic.
That is pathetic. There is no excuse for that.
Show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. Before Brownie tells you about the Magic City Classic coming to town next weekend, I'll remind you, Urology Centers of Alabama is here to help you out with your health. 20s to 30s, guys, you got to stay on top of everything, especially in your urological tract. That's why Urology Centers of Alabama has 35 urologists at 16 locations near you, treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and everything else. Visit urologycentersalabama.com to find a location near you, or 205-930-0920, or urologycentersalabama.com to schedule that appointment. Brownie?
Magic City Classic is back, the largest historically black college and university HBCU football game in the entire country, and it's back at Birmingham's Legion Field as Alabama A&M and Alabama State will face off for the 83rd time. Great game, and you can be a part of it. Saturday, October 26, 2:30 at Legion Field. Don't forget the parade before the game. Don't forget halftime, which is the real show there. MagicCityClassic.com for tickets. MagicCityClassic.com. Priced at just $25 for general admission, $35 for reserved seating. Tickets still available at MagicCityClassic.com. More college football with Roman Harper in our next segment.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? Adams Beverages is a leader in the beer industry and is hiring CDL drivers, warehouse staff, and sales reps. Whether you are a seasoned professional or exploring a new path, join Adams Beverages for an open house October 23rd from 10 to 4 at 141 Industrial Drive in Birmingham. With a commitment to quality and community, Adams Beverages offers a great place to grow your career. Learn everything about Adams Beverages and more on the October 23rd open house at Adams Beverages.
The creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
What's up, everybody? This is Mayor Woodfin, the mayor of the city of Birmingham. The McDonald's Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Legion Field October 26th. Watch the parade fill the streets of Birmingham. Turn up at the Coors Light tailgate party. Enjoy the bands at halftime, and of course, bring that magic into the stadium. The best seats are selling fast. Tickets start at just $25. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MagicCityClassic.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the next round as we get to Roman Harper here momentarily. NFL football tonight. Get a chance to see Bo Nix at his new orange and blue digs as they play at 7:15 on Prime. One NFL note has the kickoff rule being discussed. So far, so good, according to the NFL. Only one concussion on the kickoff, and only zero, so not only none, zero ACL or ligament knee injuries.
Do you have a year-to-year comparison on that? I hate asking you questions.
I do not, but that was the reason they started this. Returns are up from 22% to 32%.
Two touchdowns?
2 touchdowns. The second one was this past weekend.
Yep.
Last weekend, there were 40% return, so that number continues to go up as they continue to figure out how to play it or how to kick it. But, you know, whatever you think of it, it looks weird and everything, but it's doing what they want. Less concussions, less knee injuries. We get more NFL football tonight. Our friends at the Inverness Country Club, we were there the other night. We enjoyed that golf course. A lot of great opportunities there, Brownie.
Yeah, don't forget the Heritage Cares Golf Tournament. The Heritage Cares Foundation is going to be out there at Inverness. It's your chance to go play a shotgun start. Just $100 for the entry fee there, and you can see more right there at Inverness Golf Club. 12:30 shotgun start, October 27th for that. They also have a mixed doubles round-robin tournament in tennis, Saturday, October 26th. That's limited now to the first 32 teams, but 10-3. So whether it is golf, whether it is tennis, you can do it. And they've also got an exercise event Saturday, October 26th. Man, they are getting after it.
Are you going to be out there for the exercise event?
The golf would be the one I would most likely participate in. Yes.
Hey, they've got memberships that fit everyone to take a tour of the unbelievable club. We were out there just a couple of nights ago. Fantastic place. Reach out to Erin. Tell her the next round sent to ICCalabama.com.
Our New York Butcher stat of the day comes from a guy on Reddit called East Division Champs. He's a Big Ten guy. Do you guys remember last year the awkward update we were doing every week on Brian Ferentz's offense? He had to average 25 points per game to, quote, unquote, keep his job. They've gone in a different direction. By the way, Iowa over that mark now, averaging 29.2 points per game.
Yeah, kind of weird, huh, when they got a good coach in there?
But can you imagine, just guess how many Big Ten teams, well, first of all, it's a tough guess just to know how many Big Ten teams there are.
18, I think.
18, I believe. Yeah. How many Big Ten teams right now are under 25 points per game on average, what Brian Ferentz last year had to have to keep his job at Iowa?
I'm going to say Nebraska is.
I have a big number and 2 teams. I don't have the whole list.
Oh, so there's only 2?
I've got 2 teams.
Oh.
There are more than 2 teams.
Oh,
I don't have the whole list.
I would say definitely. I would think it's 9.
Do you think it's that many? Not half the league?
It is 7. It is 7, yeah. 7 of them. That includes defending national champ Michigan, 23.5 a game.
I would have forgotten them.
So if they had Iowa's contract, the OC would be losing his job. It includes the runner-up last year, Washington, who's only averaging 24.1 points a game. Minnesota's on the list at 25 points per game, but there are 7 teams that are under the Brian Ferentz line of points per game in the Big Ten. That's just the Big Ten.
Yeah, Rutgers, Minnesota, Washington, Purdue, Michigan, Northwestern, Michigan State, UCLA, all at the bottom in scoring offense in the Big Ten.
Nebraska's over that.
Yeah, Nebraska, I owe him an apology now. That's where I started. They're at 28 points per game, so they would be the next one in.
Coach Sad on line 1.
Yeah, sorry, Coach Sad, a friend of the show. But Iowa is actually 9th in the league. 29.2.
Hey, it's an upgrade.
It is a vast upgrade. And Lance, they
still have an opportunity because they're 1 loss, right?
No, they're 2 losses. I was about to say they have got to be kicking
what was their Big
Ten
loss?
They lost to Ohio State, 35-7. The one they're kicking themselves over is Iowa State. They had that game locked
but that Iowa
down.
State's a good team. But they did. They were up 14 at half. They were up 14 in the second half. And they ended up blowing that game.
So that's the one they'll kick themselves on.
The Keenan Pill injury for Tennessee, how big will it be? How important is it getting Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice back for Jalen Milroe in Alabama? Big game in Knoxville, big one in Austin. Let's talk to our man Roman Harper.
Yeah, Harper is going to join us from the streets of his city, New Orleans. His city's Prattville, but he also claims New Orleans. What is up, Harp? How are you today?
What's up, guys? How you doing, man? Just finished up a photo shoot with my family. They're all back there. Walking back to the condo and gonna get ready for some football tonight.
I hear
so it's good though.
So you'll be at Saints Broncos, and we were discussing this earlier. The return of Sean Payton. Dunaway asked me if I'm a Saints fan, how do I greet Sean Payton? And I think Saints fans cheer for Sean Payton, right? He gave you a Super Bowl.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I think if this and also with what's going on with the Saints team right now, they started out really good. Sorry if it's loud. They started out really good, but then all of a sudden they may miss Sean because, it's not the same. And so I think they do cheer for Sean. It's a little mixed emotions, but, they better be ready because Sean wants to beat them by 45. You better believe that. Sean is on that level of pettiness. I know him personally, and he wants to beat them bad. So this is going to be kind of that part of it. And the team that takes care of the football and plays the best is going to win. I'm excited, though, just because Drew Brees is going into the Saints Hall of Fame. We got a lot of former players here. We were all hanging out last night. And I told somebody earlier, I said, hey, look, if somebody pulled the fire alarm at the Broncos hotel last night, it wasn't anybody in my group chat. Just know that.
Hey, so Harp, let me ask you this, because I remember, and I brought up Bountygate, and after that, when Sean was suspended for the year, how that community really supported him, and they hated Roger Goodell in the NFL for doing that.
They still do.
I think the statute of limitations 15 years later is up. What really went on in that NFC Championship game? And I mean, you guys beat and battered Brett Favre.
Yeah, the crazy thing is during the game, I don't even know. I didn't realize we hit him as much as we did. And so, look, at the end of the day, it wasn't like we were paying to try and knock him out. I mean, if somebody got injured, we always collected out of our kitty, right, for certain things. If you got a sack, you got a certain thing. You got a turnover, you got a certain thing. It was just all in the kitty as one thing. It wasn't like we were trying to do anything but maliciously. But then you also had to pay. If you messed up, you got a penalty. You had to pay into the kitty. If you had a missed opportunity, you had to pay into the kitty. So it was more we distracted. Look, at the end of the day, in a world full of gangsters and organized crime, our crime was just a little bit more organized than others, and that's really what it was.
Roman Harper's with us. Vegas right now has it minus 130 that he steps in a pile of hurricane export on the streets of New Orleans as he's walking back.
Hey, my kids stepped in something yesterday. I'm like, hey, guys, this is not Charlotte, guys.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention.
Watch the
where
step.
You're walking at all times.
Yeah.
You can't just be walking out.
Yeah, that's my 11-year-old daughter. First time in New Orleans, we were leaving there on a cruise. We were walking to get to Cafe Du Monde, and we were walking through the big square there. And she's like, "What are all these big piles of pink stuff?" And I was like, "You'll know in about 7-8 years."
I mean, that's the crazy thing. Like, is it puke? Is it horse shit? Is it human shit? It could be any of it.
I think it's a combination of it all.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of it all. Yeah.
It's a very, very European feel over in New Orleans. We love it so much. So Alabama, Tennessee, and I asked the question earlier, who's struggling more right now, Alabama's defense or Tennessee's offense? I'll ask the same question to you.
I would say Alabama's defense. Tennessee's offense, I mean, we can talk about their struggles, but if Nico Iamaleava hits one or two of those deep passes the last couple of weeks, you got a total different feel of where this Tennessee team is at and this offense, right? So they have missed some opportunities. For Alabama, their struggles defensively are all a lot of eye discipline and eye violations and being in the wrong place, not communicating. And what you got to understand, guys, is a good defense is a loud defense. A good defense is a defense that doesn't keep secrets. They communicate with each other. They alert each other when things they see. Hey, this left tackle's foot's just a little bit back. Bird, which means it's just passed, right? So you don't keep any secrets to the people beside you. And that allows you to play faster, especially when you're playing in a scheme where you're going to do more zone. I talked to you guys about this at the beginning of the year. After spring training, I saw them. I said, look, if you're going to play this type of defense, you got to be able to tackle well in space. You got to be able to fly around and know who's outside you, where's leverage points at, and then play together as a unit. They're not doing those things really well right now. So now you're allowing 4-yard gains to turn into 10 or 11-yard gains. And you got to be able to nullify all this leaky yardage. And then when you guys got in zone coverage, you got to stick to guys. And then when that quarterback breaks the pocket, you got to plaster your coverage. Those are the different things that I'm seeing out of Alabama's defense. And I've been talking about it for weeks. Hopefully they get it cleaned up, because if Tennessee has wide receivers running down the middle of their defense scot-free, you can't just anticipate or depend on Nico missing them. You got to be there to defend them.
Roman Harper is with us. He joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. And you get that sign-on bonus. They will double your initial deposit. MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND. MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND. Where Alabama is favored 3 over Tennessee there in Knoxville. It is easy to discuss what Alabama's defense has done bad. We have spent a lot of time doing that. What have you seen on film they have actually improved on? What can you tell me Alabama's defense has improved on?
Since last year?
Or just during the course of this year?
I thought they started out better than where they are right now. One thing I will say is that they do have a couple guys that are starting to step up in the fact of, like, LT Overton's playing well. I like that they're rotating a lot of the young guys at corner. I'm not, like, they're actually doing decent and better. And so, like, that's a positive. But if you don't have eye discipline, your eyes aren't right in the right place, then you're going to give up leaky yards, explosive runs, explosive pass plays. Other than that, I really can't say where they improved that, guys. And that's scary.
That's
but
sad.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
I don't lie to you guys. So, like, I would love to say more, but I would be lying, and I can't do that.
I like the truth.
So, big game in Austin this week. Georgia, by the way, they've won
just a little.
They've won 50 straight versus teams not named Alabama, and now they're catching 5 points in this game. And it looks like since Georgia really struggled offensively against Kentucky, they've scored 31-plus in their last 3 games. During that stretch, Carson Beck is averaging right at 380 passing yards per game. Why do you think Texas, that number keeps creeping up and they're a 5-point favorite? That's a big number, Harp.
It's because Texas has been the best team in the country all year. The things that they've been able to go out there and do, execute defensively, show off their speed, tenacity on that side of football, creating turnovers. That's why, because Texas has been that team. And so you got to give them credit for what they've been able to do and what they've been able to earn this year. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a game that comes down to way more than that. And for Georgia, they have something that you cannot count on, that you cannot put a marker on. Appreciate it, sir. And that is their championship DNA. Georgia has the ability to rise up at any point in time in any game and go out there and do whatever they need to do to go win a game. We've seen them do it. That's why they've won 50 straight versus everything besides Alabama. So, like, because of that, they have a chance. But Georgia has started slow. Georgia can't start slow. Georgia starts fast. Georgia has a chance to go out there and show who they really are, and that is that the team, like, nobody's actually been able to actually threaten Texas as well. So I said it all year long. I'm not drinking the Texas Kool-Aid until they play 3 games. And they played Oklahoma, but Oklahoma couldn't threaten them in the pass game. Georgia's the next one, and then Texas A&M at the end of the year. Then I'll judge Texas. But this Georgia team will be the first team that can actually threaten Georgia through the air. Michigan couldn't do it. Oklahoma couldn't do it. Oklahoma challenged Texas emotionally because it's a rivalry game, but not actually in the game versus the pass. The moment Texas scored 1 touchdown, the game was over. That will not be the case versus Georgia this weekend.
People think of New Orleans for different reasons. I think of it because of food. The best thing you've ever eaten right there in the city of New Orleans, whether it was today, yesterday, or any time in your career in New Orleans, what's the best meal you ever had?
That's just unfair. I couldn't even come up with an answer and lie to you. The thing I do enjoy eating the most here are the charbroiled oysters because I can only get them here.
Yeah.
So, like, the uniqueness of that part of it is what I love. Drago's is still my fave. Acme has some good ones. Superior Seafood has really good ones as well. But the charbroiled oysters, you only get them here in New Orleans. So for me, that's probably my favorite thing that I get here all the time. And then after that, bro, it's just I love black and redfish as well, which I only seem to get a lot of great redfish down here in Louisiana. So love that as well. And, dude, and just honestly, like, every time I come here, I just eat, like, all the time. I just eat everything. And everybody's got their own taste and twang on whatever they're going to make. And you got to be really good if you want to survive here and have a restaurant business. You got to have great food. And so anywhere you go is usually pretty good.
Well, this probably goes back to the Super Bowl celebration, but what about the most random bar at the most random time in the morning that you've been at? Because New Orleans is one of those towns where it can be like 7:13 a.m., and it's not like you're starting with a Bloody Mary or a mimosa. It's like you've been out all night, but you're still able to go because it's New Orleans.
His family and kids are in hearing distance.
Yeah, no.
He already told his kids he'd leave their mom for Dua Lipa.
The trolley car, it's right there on St. Charles, and it's like a 24-hour crazy hole-in-the-wall spot. I don't know if I trust the food at like 4 a.m. because I don't know if it did me great the next morning. But places like that are like what you can only find here, where, you know, you walk around and it's just like, oh, you're open? I'm like, oh, yeah, we're open 24 hours. And you can get it how you live, however you want, at any hour of the day. right here in this city. So like that's the other part that you love. And the best thing about having the big events here is that you can have VIP places in certain areas. And then for everybody else, the gin pop, you can just turn them loose on Bourbon Street and Canal. And everybody will just have a great time regardless.
And it just seems like that town would be so dangerous for a rookie, first, second year, athlete, whether it's somebody with the Pelicans or somebody with the Saints. I mean, you don't have to name names, but did you see anybody flame out just because they couldn't handle, they didn't have the discipline to live in New Orleans with money fresh on that first professional contract?
I know, honestly, I'm not going to talk about anybody else, but I will raise my hand. Hey, look. I you know me and my lifestyle, like I like to enjoy myself. And I was one of those guys. Luckily, I just continued to make enough plays to where they kept me around. You know what I mean? Like I just made a little bit more plays my third year, a little bit better in my fourth year. And that's what allowed me to stick around. But I bought a place. I was going to buy a place in this same building that I live in now, my third year in the league, because I was partying so much downtown and I needed a place to stay and crash. Like a Batman cave downtown. So I didn't have to drive all the way back to Destrehan because I was living that life and there was no Uber at the time. So luckily I made it out and I ended up getting a place here anyways, years later. And it's awesome. It's cool. I'm going to go up here by the pool and hang out in a little while and get my drink on. We already had mimosas this morning because I guess before you do a photo shoot, you got to drink champagne with the wife.
It makes it go down easier, I guess. Harp, thank you. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you next week.
Hey, man, appreciate it, guys. Always, thank you guys for always having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy. Take care. Roman Harper with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. MyBookie.ag brings you that interview every single week where Alabama is a 3-point favorite at Tennessee. Auburn is a 4.5-point underdog at Missouri. And as Lance mentioned, the big moving line is Texas up to 5. Favored 5 over the Georgia Bulldogs. When is the last time Georgia's been a 5-point underdog? They are right there at mybookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND to double your initial deposit when you sign on with code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag.
This is usually when the person who plays the points and stuff on the show the most, Lance, says, I like the way that line's moving.
I mean, do you like the way it's moving? Well, I don't know which side you like, so I don't know if you like it or not.
I actually like Georgia right now.
So
it kind of scares me, yeah.
Oh, I thought that would help. I thought that would make you happier.
No. You want it to go the other way.
We're not to good money yet. This is bad money.
This is bad money?
This is bad money, right?
Yeah,
it's only Wednesday, Thursday.
I don't know.
When would you guess was the last time Georgia was a 5-point dog?
In 16, his first year.
It'd almost have to be.
New York Butcher Shop to get you ready for the big games. We've been talking food with Roman there. You got to be hungry for some New York Butcher right now.
Hey, I want to get you ready for Thanksgiving. I know it sounds early, but believe it or not, it's just a little over a month away, and they are already selling the birds. Taking orders right now. Turkeys are fresh, all natural, hormone-free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in America. Turkeys are fresh, but they can also smoke or brine them. Also carry smoked ham, certified Angus prime beef tenderloins, rib roast. All of their side dishes prepared in-house will feed 8 to 10 people. However, they will make smaller sides to feed 4 to 6. Don't forget, they've got desserts like pies, cakes, the banana breads we always talk about. Great wine selection to pair with your turkey or beef tender roast. They're taking reservations now. Highly recommended. They've sold out of turkeys each year. Don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Get into one of the 2 locations of the New York Butcher Shop, Caba Heights, Highway 280, right there on Highway 119, off of Highway 280 in Greystone. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
All right, big football weekend coming up. We'll talk more college football in just a second. Don't forget the Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3 is up right now, nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com. You can jump there and play the Pick 3, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, and pick your games all the way up until 11 a.m. Saturday morning, all right there at nextroundlive.com. Biggest question in the Tennessee-Alabama game is cut number 5, Tyler. Josh Heupel talking about his quarterback. If Nico has his A game this weekend, do you think Alabama can still win the football game?
In a shootout, yes.
In a shootout.
Yeah, Taylor Milroe would have to have his A game.
My prediction
Milroe's A game right now is better than Nico's A game.
41-27 Tennessee would be my pick if you press me on it right now.
Whoa. Alabama loses 41-27 is your pick.
That would be the score right now.
Well, Monday's show will be just as interesting as the last 2 weeks.
Well, I can't tell
Maybe
you how
even
that's
more.
gonna go.
I don't know
if Kane won't. Well, he'll make it through the season because of Kalen DeBoer, but boy, 41 points and a 14-point loss.
Josh Heupel talking about his quarterback, what's been missing. LT gave you the stat, 1 touchdown in the last 3 games passing. What's been going on with Nico?
I don't have concerns about him pressing. He's prideful. It matters to him. He wants to perform well, not for himself, but for the guys around him. And, let's go have a great week and be ready to go play really good football. When you play quarterback, it's not going to be perfect. Everybody wants it to be. It wasn't for Hendon Hooker, any of the guys that we've had. Being resilient, coming back and playing with great confidence, which he will, and poise will lead you to the plays that are going to present themselves.
I was going to give you his A game, which is against Chattanooga, but I think you can throw that out the window.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
You have to.
Give me his NC State game.
16-23, 211, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Alabama fans are signing up for that right now.
Yeah,
if that's his numbers, Alabama wins the game.
2 picks will be good. Sweet.
And that's one of the most disappointing teams in college football is NC State.
He's played a good defense in Oklahoma.
Didn't play bad.
13-21, 194 and a touchdown. Again, Alabama would take those numbers right now.
But that's just it. Heupel didn't put it in his hands.
He did not. They ran the ball a lot in that game.
Yeah.
And I think that's your key. I think you want to put the ball in his hands. If you're Kane Womack, Sampson is the guy you need to cut off.
Yeah.
And if Nico makes those throws, so be it.
He just has not. Alabama's by far and away. The opponents he started against are Iowa in last year's bowl game.
Yep.
Who was top 25. It's the only top 25 opponent he's ever faced.
And a pretty good defense.
They had a really good defense. It was a bowl game. Chattanooga, NC State, Kent State, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Florida. Oklahoma and Arkansas were, of course, on the road. Alabama's by far and away the best opponent he's ever faced as an overall team. Maybe not the best defense. That would have to be Oklahoma this year. But as a team, this is the biggest game by far and away he's ever been in.
Can't wait to see it. 2:30 ABC coming up this weekend. When we come back, Dan Orlovsky on the NFL. This show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com. Sterling and the crew, they bring you the final hour every day. They bring you a great lunch. They just opened 42 seconds ago there in Alabaster on Highway 119. They are sitting down the first table as we speak right now. Are they going to order fried chicken? Are they going to order chicken fingers? Maybe it's some Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. Maybe it's a day you start with the Conecuh sausage, cheese, and pickle plate as an appetizer. Maybe you top it off on this first order with banana pudding. Maybe you're going to flip it around and go dessert first and then have your main meal. You can do it all at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and the experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short-notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Dan Orlovsky joins us in just a second. Football tonight, ACC battle, 4-2 Boston College, 3-3 Virginia Tech, 6:30 on ESPN. Meanwhile, in the NFL, Broncos and Saints in New Orleans, 7:15 on Prime. Sean Payton's return there. We'll talk to Orlovsky about everything going on in the NFL, including why Pittsburgh is putting themselves in a quarterback conundrum. But first, LT tells us about Dr. B. You had a chance to go see him yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We went out, breast cancer awareness event down at St. Vincent's, and Dr. B is absolutely the man. He's got some new stuff he was telling me about, telling me and Brown about, that we will be debuting here in the next couple of weeks. But just want to remind you, if you're starting to thin out like we were, we went to see Dr. B a couple of years ago. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. The hair has more than doubled in thickness for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and that staff today. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Broncos a 3-point road favorite at the Saints tonight. MyBookie.ag giving you that point spread. You can play the game right there. Code next round doubles your initial sign-on bonus when you use code next round at MyBookie.ag. Dan Orlovsky talks NFL on ESPN and joins us at this time each week. What is up, Dan? How are you today?
I'm doing good, boys. How are you guys?
Doing awesome. Thanks a lot. The better trade in the AFC East was the Jets trading for Devontae Adams or the Bills trading for Amari Cooper. Which one was better for that team?
Yeah, it's the Jets trading for Devontae. Now, I love both trades, but the reality is the Bills were a good football team and really were a playoff football team. Now, I do think it elevates them, but the Jets were out of it. This is now – you're adding a Hall of Famer to your offense. And whether people still think he's the Devontae Adams that was the best receiver in football maybe 5 years ago, he's still a very, 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 very good receiver. One of the top 5, 6, 7 guys one-on-one in the NFL when it comes to just being able to play the position. So this is a team that is closer than the 2-4 record kind of implies. And I think that when you add that type of receiver to a team that, you know, it's Super Bowl or bust, it's you got to go get into the dance no matter what. And you've pair him with a, Super Bowl or Hall of Fame quarterback that I still think is playing better football than, maybe the moments that projected themselves. It's the Davante Adams edition.
So it's hard to question Mike Tomlin. Again, the guy has never had a losing season as a head coach. But now the reports are that Justin Fields might not get the start that we saw Russell Wilson taking a lot of snaps for the first team in practice. I think Fields has been good. I don't know how you feel about Fields. To me, there's so much more upside with Justin Fields over what you get at this career with Russell Wilson. First off, do you think it really is a possibility that Russell Wilson would be starting this week? And is it a mistake?
I think Russell's going to start. I did not think he was going to start like Tuesday of this week. As of Thursday, just listening to Shefty talk, just listening to Mike Tomlin talk, it sounds like Russell is going to start. I don't know the last time I saw this, if ever, in the NFL. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that we're in November or December, but we're a third of the way through the season. The Steelers are in first place. And they're not in third place because the quarterback's been poorly. And people say, well, they're in first place because of their defense. Well, that's probably fair. You could say that about the Vikings in many ways as well. So like this is a good football team. The quarterback has played good. If you just took the first 6 games and just spun it ahead for Justin Fields, he's going to account for 30 touchdowns and 6 turnovers this year.
Wow.
That's really good football. And so it's hard for me to conceptualize it. I don't want to pretend that he's been amazing. He has not. He's been good. He's played good, clean football, and they're winning games. I mean, they are a 4th and goal touchdown from Dak Prescott away from being 5-1. The quarterback of that team does have to matter. And so I think the biggest thing that for me is this is a bad offensive line pass protection wise. Justin's covered up for a lot of that. Russell Wilson won't, in my opinion. And I think that's going to be the thing that I'll pay attention to the most. So, yeah, it's surprising to me for sure.
How much faith? I've seen the Vikings do this before, have a great start, even a great regular season. How good are the Minnesota Vikings? I see these power rankings and this and that. How good does Dan Orlovsky think this Vikings team really is?
No, they're fantastic because they're complete. They just, if you take the defensive side of the football on first down defense, they stop the run really well. They're very sound in that. And then their blitz package is absolute hell to deal with. I mean, you want no part of it. So if you're not good on first downs against that defense, do not care who you are, you're going to play poorly. And then offensively, it's got a very good offensive line. It's got an unbelievable scheme. They can run it well, and their play action pass game is tremendous with their perimeter players. I think the thing that I'm probably most interested in is Sam Darnold, who's their quarterback, who's had a career revitalization, at least up until this point, is unbelievably talented. And he makes some really impressive and difficult throws. Can he walk that fine line consistently over the course of 18 games, 20 games, where like you fit that one into the hole, it doesn't get picked off, And so that's probably the thing that's most interesting about the situation, but they're for real.
Dan Orlovsky is with us. I want to ask you one more question on that game. MyBookie.ag brings you, Dan, code next round when you sign on and double your initial deposit with code next round at MyBookie.ag. Ben Johnson calling the plays for the Lions. He's had a hot hand these last 2 games, but Brian Flores, you just mentioned, that defensive coordinator, didn't work as the Dolphins head coach, an exceptional defensive coordinator there. That is almost as good as you can get it right now in coordinator versus coordinator in the NFL, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. That's probably as good of a matchup that we'll get in the regular season for sure. And so, I think the thing with both those guys that is interesting is they really see football the same way. They're both trying to dictate to the others, and they're dictating by, constant movement, and they're trying to get you to play slow. And the philosophy of it is the same. Obviously, just either side of the football is going to, the big difference. Can the Lions be really good on first down, and can the Vikings slow down a run action that is unbelievable? And I think that's who gets to their stuff the most. The Vikings want to get to their blitz package. The Lions want to get to their run action package. Who can get to their stuff the most will be the win essentially in that battle.
Sticking in the NFC North, fact or fiction, all 4 teams will be in the postseason.
I still say fiction on that. I think number one, it's about a little bit of what the other divisions do. I think there's 2 really good teams in the South in both Tampa and Atlanta. I think there's one clear good team in the East in Washington, and we'll see if Philly can get their act together. I'm not necessarily banking on it, but there is a talented group there. And then the West, it's I guess feels like San Francisco right now, and maybe Seattle. So I still think that the South comes into play there. I think Chicago would be the man out if you were asking me what team doesn't get in. I do think they're playing meaningful games in December, but I think 3 get in out of that division.
99% of the time, I don't ask you about my favorite team, the Bucks, but since you brought them up, I'll ask you, when you say they're good, how good? Like, how far could that team go?
So I think they're a playoff team. I do. I think that they're a playoff winning offense. I don't know how confident I am in their pass defense. I think that they play a little bit too soft when it comes to, kind of space that they give on the perimeter in their pass defense. And I think their underneath coverage can get nosy, so that gives people the opportunity to get big chunks in a pass game behind them. But I do think that offense is playoff winning good.
Randomly, if you had to take one college quarterback right now for a future franchise quarterback in the NFL, who do you think that guy is? I mean, people talk Carson Beck, Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe for a minute was in that conversation.
It's a great question. I would probably take Shedeur. I think Shedeur is the best. Like, for me, quarterback-wise is, can you see it and can you place it? And I think he's the best at that stuff. Do you see what the defense is doing, and can you place the football where it has to get placed? I would probably take Shedeur at that. Now, Quinn's talented. I haven't seen enough of him. Jalen is obviously skyrocketing. Carson's been streaky a little bit, but consistency in that, I would take Shedeur.
Now, we know how it works. You don't just sit in the studio and only watch the game that is on the network where you're doing the studio show, but that happened to be the Alabama-South Carolina game. You are watching a lot of it. When you watched Alabama-South Carolina Saturday in the studio there, your takeaway from Alabama football right now is what?
They got lucky. The game was given to them, by South Carolina. I think that South Carolina, I guess I'm surprised at how poor Alabama has been across the lines of scrimmage. I think that's 2 weeks in a row that they've been outplayed in that regard. I think that's 2 weeks in a row where they've been out physicaled in that regard. And that's surprising for someone who has, seen so much of Alabama play over the past, obviously decade, but certainly a couple years. And so, it gives me a lot of reservation with the Tennessee game this weekend, because Tennessee's really physical, specifically on their defensive line. So I am very interested to watch that game this weekend, but I was unimpressed with the line of scrimmage performance by Bama.
Yeah, you're not alone in that one. You should know. You sound like a lot of people that watch this show every day.
What about that onside kick though? The spin on that. Have you ever been on the hands team on a kick recover?
Hands wise, no, I have not been. Hands wise, I could have. Quarterbacks probably have the best hands going because we play catch every day of our life for 20 years. Athletically and size wise, no shot. I would have been sawed in half.
Yeah, I'd never seen one drop kicked like that before. I thought that was very innovative. That was fantastic.
Well, those kickers do nothing in practice, so all they do is find creative ways to kick a ball or play cards. So no, it was sweet. It was sweet. A lot of those kickers are just so talented with what they're capable of doing. So it was awesome. That's what I'm saying. If you go watch the interception that ends the game, if you see there's a corner route that's at the very top of the screen to the left of the field, if the quarterback throws that, it's 25, 30 yards and they're in easy range. Young quarterback just launched the ball upfield, but there was a completely uncovered wide receiver for Carolina.
Absolutely.
All right, he is Dan Orlovsky. Mostly talks NFL with us. We like to pick his college brain occasionally as well. Each week, courtesy of mybookie.ag. Thank you very much, Dan. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
You too, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. Dan with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Johnston RV Center brings you all of our guests, and mybookie.ag brings you Dan, where you find that game tonight. A Broncos 3-point road favorite as Bo Nix makes that start in the Dome there against Spencer Rattler. MyBookie.ag is where you can play it. Code next round. Gets you that sign-on bonus, double your initial deposit at mybookie.ag.
Hey, you want to spend the weekend, I should say, all day on the couch or at the sports bar with friends? Send the wife or girlfriend to the Woodhouse Day Spa. Not too early to think about the holiday season. Very easy gift here. You can order it 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers, right off of Highway 280. Choose from a menu of over 70 options, including body treatments, massages, skincare, waxing, nail services, and much more. Voted America's Best Day Spa since 2009. Stop in, see Stuart and that great staff, or online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Right there, I'd written it down. Tennessee, both lines better than Alabama. If I asked you volunteer defense, the Vols defense, best unit in the game.
You said the other day you think it's still Alabama's offense.
I think it's Alabama's offense, yeah.
The thing about Tennessee, you brought this up. What was the speculation that Heupel is doing, playing to his defense? You said
playing
he's doing
his defense, trying to limit the mistakes from the freshman quarterback.
And that has been a tightrope. If that is, in fact, what he's doing, they lost the Arkansas game doing that. And if Florida just doesn't throw up all over their cleats in the red zone, they lose the Florida game doing that. So I'm not, if that is his strategy, and I don't know if it is, that's just speculation, as you said. You're not speculating, others are.
Yeah, those that cover the Volunteers.
From
things I read, yes.
That I don't think it's been a great strategy.
Well, look, they haven't played a quarterback that I would even consider a B quarterback. Taylor Green, when he's on, yeah, but Taylor Green had the nagging knee injury, wasn't 100% when he played Tennessee. They haven't played a quarterback of substance. Now they're getting Jalen Milroe. We don't know how the back end of that Tennessee defense is going to hold up.
Yeah, in fact, the last two games, to your point, both teams have finished with a backup on the field, one of which won the game, and the other one forced overtime.
Yeah, I don't know if you're doing reverse psychology or not. But
I'm not.
Tennessee has not played anybody.
I'm not. It's the line of scrimmages, and then Orlovsky brought it up right there. Orlovsky just told you. He thinks Tennessee wins the game because of the trenches, both lines of the football. The Southeastern Conference is a
line of scrimmage league.
Line of scrimmage league.
Yeah, but and that's what's so weird. Like, I think the offensive line has regressed a little bit. It didn't play well against South Carolina.
And Alabama, yes.
Alabama's, yeah. I still think Alabama's got what can be an elite offensive line.
I think they've got three really good future NFL offensive linemen, from center to left guard, left tackle. But as you've seen, they got to protect both edges. If not, Milroe has a little problem. And I go back to the stat we've talked about all week, the traditional run game. Milroe's having to do everything in that run game. Can they have it? Can Jam Miller and Justice Haynes run the football at all, just so Jalen can get a swig of Powerade on the sidelines? In the break, I'm having to do it all, man. I'm too tired to even drink when I get over here because I'm throwing it, I'm running it, I'm dodging tacklers, he's doing it all.
I think this is the game where you see, we talk about Jalen Milroe was a great deep ball thrower last year and needed to work on some other areas. I think the deep balls come back into play against Tennessee.
And that's why I said earlier in the show, it's so important to have Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice back, because those guys across the middle with their speed are zone busters. And here is the wide receiver coach, Jamarcus Shepard, on whether or not defenses since that Georgia game, which had the highest rating so far this season, they started to focus a lot more on Ryan Williams. Here's the wide receiver coach in T-Town.
We have ways to move them around and things of that nature to try to eliminate some of those things and whatnot if that were to be the case. But at this point, no, I haven't seen that, nor would I expect to see that, just because, true freshman, he can't be that smart. I mean, he can't know everything. So at some point you hit a wall as a freshman, and some of that production tends to go down. So I wouldn't double him.
Do you think he's approaching that wall?
That's not for me to answer. I don't know. I'm just saying he right now is playing at a high level. He graded out one of his highest games, actually this past game, in our room. So obviously that takes in consideration just his effort, obviously knowing what he's supposed to do, and his technique and how he's technical and what he's doing. So he graded out to one of the highest levels this past week. He's very upset with me because it wasn't higher, but he knows the reasons why it wasn't higher. So that's what's even more important. They understand how they can grade higher each and every week.
That would be a guy there saying, I would not double team him because we don't don't want you to double team him because we want you to play one-on-one.
Whatever I do.
He's the one, LT, that's not. He's the one that is not telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't double team Ryan Williams. That's a bad move on your part.
He's about to hit a wall, man.
How you ignore that kid?
Yeah, has he hit the wall? Well, that's not me for an answer.
I don't know about that.
I'm
I sure would double team him. That's for sure.
How many people watch your show? And I'll let you know. Does Ryan watch your show or not? And Kane Womack's the guy that gets a lot of questions. And you've heard Roman Harper and other people, analysts, for a couple of weeks now, just talk about missed execution, bad eyes. Roman was talking about earlier when he was with us. The eyes aren't in the right place. The communication on the field is not at the right place. Maybe it's the play call or any of that. Kane gets asked about it. Have you ever, with the way it's going right now, have you thought about simplifying this a little bit more? And I don't understand this because I thought we were simplifying it a lot coming from Saban and that defensive
That's
scheme.
what we were told.
Which I always thought was the high end of math, and we'd gotten down to Algebra 101.
Right.
But apparently they're asking, should we simplify more? What does Kane say to that?
When you see the errors in execution, does it cause you to pull back on what you'd like to call as the play caller? And then just how do you think about the value of just simplicity versus throwing a bunch of wrinkles at an opponent?
Yeah, no, that's ultimately the give and take that we're trying to look at every single week. What can we go execute at a high level and do it consistently, and yet still have enough wrinkles that we're not a vanilla defense that teams feel like, okay, they're able to lock in and attack. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what we call. If we can't execute it to consistency, we're going to have a problem. Some of that is just the growing pains of a new defense in year one, and that we're going to have to continue to work through. So you can't sit there and throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, right? Where all of a sudden now you're saying, hey, I'm going to get rid of this call that's been very beneficial for us over the years, and we're going to get rid of it because we didn't execute it well enough in week 2, 3, 4. When in week 6, 7, and 8, if we'll just continue to stay at our process, I think those things will come to fruition.
I hesitate to even say this, and I said it before the Georgia game, and it actually turned out, at least in the first half, to be true. I said before the Georgia game that a lot of fans, and this was coming from fans, I had not had anybody from like inside the football complex or anything tell me this. I just kept saying fans are saying Alabama has been very, very base in these first 3 games, and they will show Georgia things they have not shown on film all year long. And it did, in fact, happen.
It did, yes. But then you can't do that again against Vandy and lose, and do that again against South Carolina.
It's a little bit different against Vandy because they run a totally different style of offense. So you're not going to attack them the same way you would a traditional passing offense,
That's right.
Pavia and that style keeps you from doing that.
Almost military option like at that
point.
And
I'm just telling you, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just going to tell you what I was told by someone that watches a lot of film, not the film guy. Everybody's going to think I'm talking about Brooks. It was not Brooks. Somebody that watches a lot of film on college football said they were a bit perplexed what Alabama did against South Carolina because it seemed very base and very generic. And he said, I don't know this to be the case, but it was almost like a coaching staff that thought they could just roll the helmet out there and beat South Carolina.
It doesn't seem like DeBoer's makeup.
I agree with you. And that's what I said.
Boy, it's a dangerous game to play after losing to Vanderbilt.
And that's what I said. Both those things. I was like, boy, Kalen DeBoer does not seem like a guy that would do that. And that is you just lost to Vanderbilt. He's like, yeah, I know, but I think what that coaching staff might have been thinking was that's a style of play issue against Vanderbilt. South Carolina's not going to give us a lot of that. We can be a little bit more base. What this person said to me was they did not do the same things against South Carolina they did against Georgia that made them successful. And his only point was, I'm interested to watch the Tennessee game and see if I see more of that first half Georgia defense. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're holding anything back. I'm just telling you that's from somebody that watches the game differently than all of us.
Yeah, matchups are very, very different. Again, we're only sportscasters and fans. We're not former players or anything. But I've had another former coach tell me the same thing, that occasionally when South Carolina would substitute, the defensive mind that was telling me this I would have substituted a bigger guy in and took a DB off just to match personnel.
Right.
And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. We'll see how it all matches up. over there in Knoxville coming up this weekend. One factor, though, LT, is the guy you always talk about with his winning record in big games is Kalen DeBoer. This is another big game. People are billing this as almost it's a playoff game. It's almost an elimination game for the loser. I don't know if it's to that point. 2-loss Alabama with some big wins down the road against LSU. You have an LSU-Georgia win on your resume, could get you into the playoffs, but people are talking like this could be an elimination game this weekend, and in an elimination scenario, you got to like Kalen DeBoer a little bit.
Yeah, I think you like Kalen DeBoer. I know Alabama fans don't like these close games, but close games against top 25 teams, he's been lights out. I don't think it's an elimination game. I think either one of these teams can absorb a second loss. Now, the problem there becomes you can't get a third loss. Like, there will be a team or two that gets in with a third loss, but I think you can absorb a second loss.
Yeah, big game though. No, there's rivalry game. Both teams have losses they're not expecting at this point, and now they're meeting in this game up in Knoxville, where there's actually a little bit more. People are talking about a Georgia loss too. That could be almost an elimination game for Georgia. I don't see that either with their brand, but.
The Ole Miss game becomes all in for them at that point. Yeah. I mean, that's that's the biggest game they would have remaining after that.
Yep.
Unless you think Florida is playing well enough to challenge them in Jacksonville. I don't. Florida's playing better, but without Graham Mertz, I don't know that they can challenge Georgia.
Yeah, we always said, I mean, if you're a 2-loss SEC team, we thought you'd be in, and I still stick by that. I think if you're 10-2 at the end of the regular season in the SEC, I think you'll still be in, and it would help out a little bit, by the way, to free up another space if Georgia Tech beats Notre Dame this weekend, give Notre Dame that second loss, with one of them being against NIU and one of them against Georgia Tech.
That'd be hard to overcome, yeah.
Yeah, because they won't have that quality
That's
win.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because the USC win that was going to be a quality win for them is no longer a quality win. That could be a USC team that wins that game to be 7-5 instead of losing to be 6-6. That is not a quality win.
Yeah, we mentioned USC with 2 more defenders opting out with injuries and/or deciding not to play the rest of the season. So they are a makeshift USC unit on their way to play Maryland at College Park.
And you know, Eric Gentry, we talked about yesterday, probably the best defensive player on that unit. Second best defensive player, probably Anthony Lucas, the other guy that's going to be out. So, you know, USC, not only have they lost 3 consecutive games, now you've lost, you know, arguably your 2 best defenders.
All right, show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them is Academy Sports. Brand will tell you about how you can get the great deals at the new Academy Sports in your neighborhood. But first, Grace Tree Service. Clean up the dead wood. Hey, listen, you've had trees falling. Maybe you got some that are leaning, that are just dying, worm-filled, no leaves anymore. Now's a good time to take care of all of that in one call to our friends at Grace Tree Service.
Yeah, I've got a meeting with our friends at Grace later today, and they just do fantastic work. Family-owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. Had them come out a few months ago, extract some trees from my property. We've had multiple people up here at Double Down that have gotten the same done. Everybody swears by the incredible service from Grace. Grace maintains a fleet of specialized cranes and lifts to get the job done right, prevent damage to your home. Probably seen them rolling around town, trusted by nearly every golf course in Birmingham and the Birmingham Zoo. No competition. Call 205-281-6100. Scan that QR code or visit gracetree.com.
We had so much fun out at Academy Sports and Outdoors last Saturday. It's a gorgeous new store there on Highway 280 in Birmingham. It's the old Best Buy right there near Target, and Chick-fil-A on Highway 280. And you can go by and enjoy their grand opening right now. They have great deals there. They are completely stocked up with Alabama and Auburn team gear there. That was where we were doing the show from. Great looking stuff from great brands. They're giving away gift cards. You can see more in store. Go to that Academy Sports and Outdoors. Any store near you. Support Academy Sports and Outdoors, but especially in the Birmingham area. Highway 280 in the old Best Buy in the Target Shopping Center. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Trash is next.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban.
Are you
Order
looking
now
for
at
a rewarding career?
danielmooreart.com.
Adams Beverages is a leader in the beer industry and is hiring CDL drivers, warehouse staff, and sales reps. Whether you are a seasoned professional or exploring a new path, join Adams Beverages for an open house October 23rd from 10 to 4 at 141 Industrial Drive in Birmingham. With a commitment to quality and community, Adams Beverages offers a great place to grow your career. Learn everything about Adams Beverages and more on the October 23rd open house at adamsbeverages.net.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hemphill gives you that heat check before it gets too cold out there. I think about halftime of the game in Knoxville, the temperature is going to be 69 degrees. Tonight's beautiful weather. Was chilly this morning. My first frost on the windshield, on the pumpkin, as my granddad used to say. So that cold weather's coming eventually. Get that heat checked out.
I'll tell you what I'm going to miss this winter is having the old Stelvio where you could do you could fire it up.
Remote start.
The remote start. Don't have it right now.
Oh, no.
I know. 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the Next Round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And don't forget, Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3, ongoing as we speak, all the way up until kickoff on Saturday. You just go to nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com, and look for the icon. It should say Week 8. Is that where we are? Week 8. There's a live look, in fact, a live look at our website. Week 8, top of the page right there, presented by our friends at MyBookie. And, of course, Buffalo Wild Wings. Go make your plays 3-0, gets a ball in a bucket there. Grand prizes at the end of the year from our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. All right. So trash in just a second. We've talked all this stuff about this weekend coming up. in the college football and National Football League. That earthquake game, though, 35 years ago today, I was watching. It's one of those rare events that because of the Goodyear blimp, that the sports team quickly became the news team because the first aerials of the destruction came from the Goodyear blimp because no TV crews were out yet. Thank God a lot of people were already at the stadium or at bars or at home watching the game and not on the interstates that were collapsing, normal rush hour traffic when the game was going to start at 5 o'clock. Where were you when it happened?
You guys are going to be shocked. I was at a Young Life meeting.
Really?
What is Young Life?
Young Life Christian
the Christian group?
Yeah. So
that's wild.
I think I was a freshman in high school, sophomore in high school. But yeah, I remember we were at a Young Life meeting. We had the game on, and camera started to shake a little bit.
Yep.
I just remember I'm like Buster. I think Lance. I was. What are you laughing at?
He's back there laughing at me.
You hit in a Young Life group. I'm like Buster. I think I was watching on TV, and I can remember, it did the and then it was kind of the wavy lines, and you could barely hear Al Michaels get out. We're having an earthquake. I think we're having an earthquake.
Yeah,
and then it was like insanity after that.
They lose the feed, and then when they get it back up, they go into their continuous coverage outside the stadium. Eventually, Al and them left the stadium. We're standing out, much like we did on the fire drill, out in basically the parking lot. And I remember the players getting their family members down out of the stands onto the field with them because you didn't know if the stadium would collapse or whatever. Sadly, 63 people lost their lives, over 3,800
Amazing
injured.
that was only 63.
Yeah, for that big an earthquake.
6.9 on the Richter scale right there in two major cities, Oakland and San Francisco.
I said I was at a meeting, a Young Life meeting, and my buddy Scott Banks from Denver, what was her name?
Baby, if you'll go to this Young Life meeting, we go to homecoming together.
Our friends at Champy's Chicken bringing you this hour before we get to trash. Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. You can't beat Sterling and the customer service you get there and the attention to detail he puts into his food. He brines that chicken overnight in his special recipe brine there. It is so juicy down to the bone. The hand-cut chicken fingers, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, all the wonderful side. Don't forget the desserts there that includes the banana pudding, the Mississippi mud pie, and the key lime pie. It's all right there at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. Tyler, got a crowd around you. Hit the big button, man.
Tell me about the whistles. The whistles got woo. When you want to woo, it's that woo woo. You know what I'm saying?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, it is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Do you guys remember the Viewmaster? Now, Tyler and EG are going to be like, they have no idea.
Hey, I know what a Viewmaster is. I've found one at my grandma's house one time.
Oh, God, made me feel old.
No, this was
a circular thing you put in and you would click it and it would change?
You had the little, it was a round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd put it in and I would and I would click it and it would change scenes.
It had different images. Yeah. So it was our way to explore the world back before the internet.
That's right. And it was like 3D.
It was 3D.
Yeah. And eventually came with a little music or talking. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember this one right here that Tyler's showing. And it was
fantastic. Had the Viewmaster right there. Yeah. And I remember you could look at dinosaurs. You could just do whatever you wanted.
There was a Batman thing.
They had Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I agree with this, though. Mattel, the toy company behind Barbie and Hot Wheels, developing feature film about the Viewmaster. Live-action movie will be developed with Sony Pictures and Escape Artists. Viewmaster has been around since 1939. In a press release, Mattel described the toy as, quote, a popular childhood staple for generations, one that has taken its fans all over the world with its 3D image reels. Now, Viewmaster has inspired generations to embark on boundless adventures. Escape Artists recently produced The Piano Lesson, The Equalizer 3, some other films out there. I'm sure Tyler will see it so we can get his review of it, but I probably have no desire to see it.
Sadly, I do think I'll see this one.
Yeah. But, this could be, like, Tyler, the first Lego movie. I think they've made multiple now. That first one I thought was really good. I mean, it's a kid's movie. I mean, just watching it from an adult's perspective, you got some adult jokes in there. You didn't like it?
No, I like the Lego movies.
Yeah, that first one I thought was really good.
So what do we think the premise is going to be? Like, kid finds it in his grandmother's house and jumps into these reels and then becomes part of
that's the way I would do it.
that history?
That's the way I'm picturing it. Very Jumanji-esque.
Yeah, they come to life.
Every
you put it in,
family kids geared film nowadays is just another ripoff of Jumanji.
Yeah. You put it in, you click it, it's a dinosaur scene, and boom, all of a sudden you're running from the dinosaur.
And they're like, thanks for getting us out of there. And then they go crazy, right?
So a man in Port St. Lucie, Florida is behind bars and lucky to be alive, in my opinion, after brandishing a flamethrower at police.
You can't have too many flamethrowers around. You never know when you're going to need one.
Great flamethrower scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Is that a Second Amendment thing? Do I have a right to bear flamethrowers?
That is a great question, Jim, if it falls under the right to bear arms. If you're on a jury, how do you vote?
That seems to be a bridge too far from me.
Okay.
But as a guy with hairy arms, if I was on the other end of the flamethrower, I would have bare arms at that point. It would burn the hair off pretty quickly.
I got singed over the...
Flamethrowers are not considered firearms under the National Firearms Act. So
but ironically, they literally fire
most
fire.
Of the United States.
Yes.
But in California and Maryland, they've got restrictions on it.
I'm going to say they have restrictions in the UK as well.
Probably.
Because no
I
firearms
assume so.
over there. People would just, instead of knives, just carry flamethrowers. I did get torched above the iron skillet last week cooking. Like flame came up.
Oh, okay. I got you now.
And that smell of burnt hair.
The smell of burnt hair is awful.
Is so bad.
It is.
So this is Joseph Morton, 39 years old, was arrested, charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on a law enforcement officer and 1 count of resisting an officer without violence. Now, the police department said it responded to a report of an explosion with smoke. When officers arrived, Morton allegedly was yelling at officers from his backyard. Morton, armed with a handheld flamethrower, came to his front yard into the roadway where the officers were parked. Police department said it ordered Morton to drop the flamethrower at gunpoint, but he refused. Police department said that he continued to approach the officer. He pointed the flamethrower at one of the officers. An officer was close enough to grab the flamethrower. I'm shocked here. Like, I don't know if you guys follow Steve Inman on the X, but he's got great commentary to different fight and very violent scenes.
I do not.
But there's this one dude that is getting chased by the police dog, and he turns his gun on the police dog, and they unload on him. So, and which they should have. But if you've got a flamethrower pointed at a cop, how do you not unload on this guy?
Yeah, I would agree.
So the officer actually grabs the flamethrower, according to the police department. That's when Morton retreats to his home, with the home surrounded by police. Officers request for him to exit the home. According to the police department, Morton appeared at his front door, attempted to blind an officer with a flashlight. At that point, it's when they used their tasers and they were able to get him into custody.
Very few people know this, but I've seen it happen. Lance uses a redneck flamethrower to occasionally light his fire pit out back.
I have, and I've done it to burn spiders that are on like the
hairspray and lighter.
Yeah.
Were you like me when Lance?
That's what got us thrown out of North River one time. I told you guys that story.
That's true. Yes. When Lance said he got tortured by the iron skillet, were you like me and you thought he had SMU, TCU had the wrong side of it? That's what he was talking about.
No, I actually thought he was
I heard you chuckle, and that's what I was thinking.
Cooking show. I instantly went to the Iron Skillet, Iron Chef cooking show. And I was like, can you bet on the Iron Chef? And is that still on? He got burned by that, losing a lock or something.
I need the little fire hydrant underneath the sink.
Yep.
Because I thought for a minute, you see these nightmare scenarios where the kitchen fire blows up and there's nothing to do about it.
Right.
I thought I had that for a second.
Lance has one under there if you're his home insurance provider that's mandated by the insurance policy to have one under your sink there. And I've seen it. You do have one, Lance. I've seen it.
Is it mandated?
It is, yes.
Okay. Do you have one?
I do,
Of course.
Yes. I mean, do I know how to work it? No.
Minnesota teacher remained the reigning champion on Monday of an annual pumpkin weighing contest in Northern California. His massive pumpkin won the top prize 4 years in a row.
Why is Dabo Sweeney there?
It does look a little Dabo.
Travis Gender of Minnesota beat his closest competitor by 6 pounds, clinched the victory at the 51st World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off.
Good gourd.
This is in Half Moon Bay, south of San Francisco. His winning gourd came in at 2,471 pounds.
That's a big old pumpkin.
Falling short of the world record he set last year with a pumpkin that weighed 2,749 pounds.
That man can grow them.
Now, his family drove 35 hours to California to actually have this pumpkin in the competition.
And he won what?
Oh, what did he win, Tyler?
Do you know, Tyler?
A blue ribbon?
I mean, more than that. Boy,
Taylor Hicks is up there, too.
It does not say that there's any prize money.
I guarantee you that hand's in that left pocket. I know what's about to come out of that left
Harmonica?
pocket. Harmonica.
Taylor Hicks. I like the guy. Can you zoom in anymore, Tyler? The guy in the pumpkin sport coat back there. I like him. He is all in on the pumpkin festival. He's got his own pumpkin sport coat. Of course, it's the MC.
Yep.
Cheesiest guy there.
Go back to the picture before that.
What a sport coat that is.
You go back to the picture before that. Apparently, the guy who does miles per hour for the Los Angeles Dodgers is there, too, right next to the guy in the sports coat.
Oh, the guy in the hat? Yeah.
Jose Brito.
Lance, of course, knows his name.
Yep, that one weighs a lot.
No, that's our man. Oh, my gosh. Who was the guy that worked for Fox 6? Alan?
Oh, Alan Collins.
That's Alan Collins in 15 years.
Yeah. Alan Collins and the fat don't you buy no ugly truck guy.
No, the guy with the pumpkin jacket is Brendan Gleeson, an actor. You guys give me that?
I don't know who he is.
Behind the glass
British
they
guy?
do. Brendan Gleeson is a Scottish actor.
Yeah, that's the same for me.
Close enough, Jimmy.
Yeah.
TikTok's latest villain is you guys probably know, y'all are on TikTok all the time, a feline named Maxwell.
Never seen this one, though.
No, it's not my
You've seen
algorithm.
it?
No, it's not my algorithm.
Look at this little mean bastard. He's been
telling you.
dominating everyone's For You page for weeks, whatever that is. Max's niche, starring in clips of him terrorizing other cats while strutting around the neighborhood like he owns the place.
I mean, look at that middle picture. I mean, you just think to yourself, okay, kitty cats and tigers are they really the same species? But look at, I mean, if you just imagine that being a full-grown tiger, it's the same, same motion, same effort and everything.
Now, there are a lot of differences between cats and dogs, but the one glaring difference when you hear somebody say, if you were, small enough, your cat would eat you, your dog would not.
Yeah,
that's a good point, and I think it's true. Yeah.
Is this ref cam that we were getting these
So
pictures
here's what
from?
it is.
This is from Maxwell's point of view.
Yeah,
they put a camera on his collar.
His owner strapped on his collar, will get you front row seats to his rampage. Roughly 2 million followers since posting began in April of 2024. Maxwell's antics have gone super viral on the video sharing platform, racked up millions of views alongside a little bit of controversy. Viewers are increasingly getting worried about Maxwell's well-being and the safety of other cats he's been picking fights with. Like many cats, Maxwell loves to explore the outdoors and socialize with other feline friends. However, he seems to have a difficult time actually making friends because his preferred love language is violence.
Yeah, he's a bully.
By the way, I think this whole our phones listen to us gets a little bit overblown. I think a lot of times people don't realize if you Google something, it's going to get served back up to you.
Would you?
But,
Would you put EG on the microphone real quick? Just tell Brownie what happened to you yesterday.
Hey guys.
Hey EG, how are you?
I'm not gonna be able to hear him.
Yeah. No. Just real quickly, Brown says that the phone doesn't listen to you or keep track of you. What happened to you last night when I called and asked you about something?
So, LSU game we're attending, surprise. And Dunaway texted me asking if I got my credential. And after that, I'm not kidding, like that email came to my phone and my entire TikTok algorithm was LSU.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me as much. I'm saying listen to you like I could say something. But
No, I did because I told you about Love at the Mirage. I brought it up. I was having a conversation and it started popping up on my phone without Google.
Yeah. But now put Tyler back on because let me tell you what happened to me. I pull up TikTok the other day, Tyler. I'll pull TikTok up, and my For You page, like 3 or 4 straight videos, that old cat over there that had the chestnut that was metal, there is no way that comes up on my phone except you had it on trash. I haven't Googled that.
Right.
That trash story, and it's on my For You page.
I mean, I can't see you looking that up in
Not in a
your
million
spare
years.
time.
Yeah.
Or
I had forgotten
like
about
that.
it until right now.
Yeah,
it was in your algorithm.
It was in my algorithm. It was this video breakdown from like the BBC. I mean, it's a huge controversy over there. I'm like, there is no other way that I get served that video except for Tyler.
I mean,
Well, now
absolutely.
you get to watch Conker's videos.
Oh, thanks. That's great.
And that's Trash
That's
Today,
it.
brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
If you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process easy. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200.
All right, every Thursday, we get to our traditions, and Brown has that for us today. It's brought to you by our friends at McCurry. Tell us about McCurry, and then he'll hit the big button.
When it comes time to rent, you rent from McCurry. They've got all those difficult cars, trucks, SUVs to find. They've got it in stock right there at McCurry, passenger vans as well. Easy to rent also. Get you in and out fast with locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Get your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The College Football Spotlight.
College football's best traditions.
Lance says this tradition is in play this weekend. In play. Ooh. This tradition. That's according to the Lance Taylor. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.
Hillbilly Magic.
Hillbilly Magic.
I didn't know this. They only sing after wins?
Well, they do sing that. I don't know if it's only after wins. That was not the tradition I was talking about. I was just setting the tone for West Virginia here.
Because I pictured them singing that a lot, like in Rocky Top this weekend.
Right. You'll hear that a lot.
I mean, you'll hear it all the time. I assume they do that at West Virginia games. I've never been to a game in Morgantown, but I assume you get that pregame. You're going to the fourth quarter.
I know you get it after wins. I definitely know they do it after wins. But what else do they do after wins, guys? This is very well known.
They like to burn a couch.
They like to burn a couch. Scott's got some photos. I gave Scott a tough assignment today, but he is up for it. He found some burning couches. I mean, if that doesn't look like a party, guys, I don't know what you want anymore in life.
Let's see. There's 5 of us. We've got a cold beer and a burning couch. What do we need? Women.
Women. Oh, crap. I forgot, Errol. West Virginia fans have a long history of setting things on fires. Couches and chairs are the most frequent things that they set on fire. And it's got a sketchy history of how this thing started, but most historians trace it back to the 1970s, and it actually goes back to basketball. Not even football. It was a big basketball win that they think actually started this. But the image of constantly burning couches over the years is probably not that accurate of an image. It really only picked up over the last 20 years or so, so much so that the city of Morgantown, Virginia, has had to change. I think Scott's going AI on us. They'll burn it on the sidelines.
Yeah, it doesn't look real. Forster, that doesn't look real.
Scott, they don't burn it on the sidelines, do they? Okay, that's better. I like that one. Yeah, there we go.
By the way, the fumes that are coming off that pleather couch it cannot be healthy for you.
Yeah, you do not want to breathe around that. In 2005, fire officials ordered all upholstered furniture, debris, and flammable objects to be removed from city porches.
Brown, that does not look like that's not Photoshop. That is an actual. They've even got the rope line keeping people away from it.
I find that hard to believe.
There's a crowd in the background. They didn't bring it in the state of
You can't embrace this tradition.
I'm sitting here. That does not look like it's AI, Forrester.
These were created about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So you put the couch on here?
Yes.
The rope line does it for me. That's really good.
Wow. Well, AI is dangerous.
Hey, what would you pay at halftime to see one of their hillbillies on a motorcycle like an enduro?
Trying to jump burning couches?
Yeah, just flooring it, laying it down and jumping burning couches.
This became, by the way, couch burning is now a felony in Morgantown, West Virginia.
I don't believe that either.
Yeah, felony. But that has not stopped students. They continue to set things ablaze. City manager Jeff McWhorter estimates 3,000 street fires have been started over the last decade. 3,000. First, they give them a written warning, but you can be fined up to $500 and charged with a felony. That's not stopping anybody, though. They're still burning those couches with no women around, just the guy standing there looking at a burning piece of furniture. Lance says that it is in place Saturday night in Morgantown. Burn them couches if they beat Kansas State.
Can't you see their TV ads in Morgantown? Listen, Coach Brown hadn't won as much as we wanted to the last few years. We got to get rid of these couches this weekend. It's a going out of business sale right here. 50% off right here until Neil Brown gets hot winning more football games.
Fire sale.
It is a fire sale, yes. That's our tradition presented by McCurry Van and Car Rentals. McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com.
He's catching some heat about, at least they're having fun. The West Virginia program is better than when it was. It's just his losses this year have been against rivals. Penn State, Pitt, those are two rivals, right?
Yeah.
They lost that game. What was their third loss?
Iowa State
Saturday. Yeah. Undefeated Iowa State.
So they're 3-3?
They're not losing to bad teams.
They've lost to teams that are combined 18-0.
That's right.
They're not losing to bad teams.
Number 3, Penn State. Number 9, Iowa State. And who was the other one? Pitt. Number 20, Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 3 good teams. I mean, Pitt.
All 3 games were competitive, right?
Penn State kind of
Penn
pulled away
State
from
fell
them.
apart in the second half.
After the rain delay. But
and the same with Iowa State.
Yeah, the Pitt game was fantastic. Yeah, that was.
Everybody plays Pitt. It's going to be a great game.
That's true. That was on the road, and that was the game where Holstein showed out. But that was a fantastic game.
Yeah, so it's a fun weekend, and that's our tradition there with the couch burning of West Virginia and some made-up AI stuff there that even fooled me on the second one. The first one didn't fool me. It wasn't sized up correctly with the rest. But the last one, it was the rope line that got me. I was like, well, if you're going to burn the couch on the sideline,
got to be safe.
You got to have 4 volunteers to hire the rope to keep the people away. That's what got me. Good job by you,
I
AI.
love that you think they're going to burn it on the sidelines. People in the stadium.
Well, I mean, is Reese and them right there? Or is Big Noon kickoff there? So we're going to do a little tradition behind it. To hell with the black smokes going out. And we need 4 volunteers to keep people from walking into the burning area.
I mean, heck, the Ducks shaved a kid's head in the background at game day this week.
I cannot believe that was going on.
That's crazy, isn't it?
By the way,
what?
I finished the McMahon documentary, Mr. McMahon documentary last night. Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon.
I'm not a wrestling guy.
Right.
Fantastic, I thought.
What did that have to do with haircut?
There's
a haircut in there.
One of the I forget which one. It was WrestleMania. It was Trump versus McMahon. You had your own fighters, and whoever won, the other one had to shave the head, and Trump got to shave McMahon's head.
Very believable storyline.
Yeah, right.
Donald Trump beat Vince McMahon.
Yeah, but it was.
Was Trump wrestling, or he was a manager?
No, you had a representative for you.
Oh, okay. So President Trump did not get in the ring.
He did not. So, but I thought, I'm not a wrestling guy, but I found all 6 episodes fascinating.
Okay.
Fascinating. It was really, really good stuff. Or a hit piece, if you were a fan of Mr. McMahon, as some of his friends were calling it. But I just thought it was very interesting, the wrestling side of it all. Not a big fan of wrestling, but it was a good documentary on Netflix, I believe. Mr. McMahon. All right, that's our show today. We're back with you tonight. We're out at the Goose in Avondale for Bud Light Game Night. Can't wait for that. That's 5 to 6. Come hang out with all of us. And then down at Toomer's Corner tonight. Also tomorrow night, we're broadcasting live on the Hibbets YouTube channel, the Alabama game, and then all the coverage always on Saturday. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.